This interview was not only better, it was more of a pleasure to conduct, sir.
Yes.
Really time.
Okay.
It's always good to talk to another asshole.
Got it right here.
DVD! That's right.
We were watching a DVD, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, what a super kick that was.
Knocked his head off from here to Japan. All the way.
And now Balls is getting rid of that setup of the chairs for whatever reason. And now Balls Mahoney said something about him dying, I think, when you want to see him knock him down. I couldn't really hear what he said, to be honest.
It's hard to hear it. Someone's at ringside. Who is that?
A girl is at ringside and just distracted Pat Savino by putting Pat's,
face into her bosoms.
Uh-oh. Oh, my God! Wow! Lights out, lights on, lights out.
Absolutely.
As Balls Mahoney
I guess that answer.
A win there against Low Life Louis Ramos.
He started the fire, and it went right in Louis' face, and he got the victory.
Fireball victory from Balls Mahoney on Low Life Louis Ramos. I see Anthony DiBlasi on the outside there. Do you see him?
Absolutely.
This guy, Anthony DiBlasi, for those that don't know and did not get Violent by Nature, and you should buy it right now, rfvideo.com. But for those that don't know, on this last DVD, DiBlasi was the man who sent Abdul the Butcher after him. Then after the attack of Abdul the Butcher, Mana came after him as well. So,
that's
right. Now DiBlasi's got a lot of beef there with Low Life, but he's stalking Low Life Louis Ramos. He's checking it. Let's see what he's going to say. Low Life was trying to attack DiBlasi, but he got attacked, I think, by Ken Sweeney on the outside there.
Are you kidding me?
Hang on a hit.
To stop your undefeated streak a year ago. And I've been sending all these people out here to try to get this fire back in you. I should not be standing in front of you right now and cursing you out. You're doing nothing right now. I saved your money.
Well, it Low Life Louis Ramos up, and Ken Sweeney drops it, but DiBlasi did get knocked out as well.
Ken Sweeney, the
Great matchup it was. Great matchup all the way through. Balls Mahoney, Low Life Louis Ramos. DiBlasi getting attacked on the outside. We got more action coming up.
I had Dynamite Kid come out here and proclaim himself the hardcore champion. And what did you do? You sat in the back and look at baby pictures. While a man Speedy came out here and won that title, you did nothing.
Like every Monday night, you are checking out Breakfast Super Raw.
Bon appetit as Don, Tony, and Mish dish out their opinions about the world of pro wrestling, sports, news, and pop culture. Breakfast Super Raw.
And now, your host, Mish and Don Tony.
Bam, 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 bam. Good evening, everybody. By the way, quick audio evaluation from everyone out there. Do I sound loud and clear? Was messing around with some plugins tonight. I want to know if you hear me all right. So I know there's like a 5-second delay in the chat room. Harris, I'll explain in a second. So just for my audio-only friends out there, okay, audio is great. Good. Audio is great. Here's the deal, everyone. It's a little weird. I think a little miscommunication tonight between myself and Mish. About half an hour, 45 minutes ago, Mish sent me an alert that his Comcast internet was down, and he wanted to give me enough time to prepare accordingly. I told him, if the internet goes up, let me know ASAP so I can switch everything back. And about 5 minutes before I went live, I noticed that he was connected to Discord. So I don't know if that means that his internet is fully up or what. So I am up here by my lonesome, literally on short notice. But you know what? What that will mean is more of you being able to call in tonight. We will talk about a few topics tonight. I am a little bit rested, the King of Hearts. I know it's not an Owen Hart shirt, but hey, King of Hearts will do. It'll do. By the way, I don't know why people think that I'm full of shit when I say things, going back when I talk about talking to people, even if it's WWE. I know there's a lot of people online that BS through their ass, but last week we had some fun. Deli Man was in Thunderdome, and I had told everyone that they invited me to SmackDown, but I was on vacation Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then they asked me if I could use footage for Deli Man tonight. So not only did you get one more shot, the last ever Deli Man, the last ever Thunderdome, you got Deli Man back on TV. Well, actually, no, this is the current shot. But the best shot is towards the end, right smack at ringside. Front row seat to see Rhea Ripley beat Natalya. Isn't Natalya a SmackDown wrestler? I know it's the invite. I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, tonight we are going to talk about Raw. Tonight we will have a few comments about Thunderdome. I'd love for you all to call in tonight and tell me overall your feelings on Thunderdome. Just keep in mind that we're in the middle of a pandemic, and personally having that instead of no noise whatsoever, no visual of fans whatsoever. Me, I'm a little bit partial on it. I've been in Thunderdome 10 times, enjoyed it. Should have did Deli Man from the first time, because I know a few people there got a kick out of it. Couple of friends of mine that are on TV actually thought it was pretty funny as well. Look, I'm an overgrown kid. I mean, let's be honest. I'm an overgrown kid. I'm now entering my 50s, but I try to have fun wherever I can. I try to put smiles on my face, smiles on your face, get our minds off of this bullshit. If you want to hang out and communicate with people that just want to give you 90% misery, go ahead. But me, I try to have fun no matter what. So for me, I try to keep things at face value. Even the WWE women's division, I think we have an idea that the women's division is kind of shoddy right now. Tegan Nox, Shotzi Blackheart, now on SmackDown. I like it. Let's see where it goes. Let's hope Tegan Nox, Christopher Travers, shout out to you, my friend. 50s. You see the footage of me from 15, 16 years ago. If you thought I was in my 40s, that would make me 20. Does I look like I was in my 20s? More like my 30s at that time. I appreciate everyone that says that I don't age. My hair is still here, but we got a few things to talk about today. If you were confused,
at the very beginning of tonight's show, you heard that little quick audio clip thanking Paul Orndorff for doing an interview. And he said it's always fun to have one asshole talk to another. Paul Orndorff died today, 71 years old. I want to share very quickly a story with all of you out there. No, not how we did the interview. We could relive that later. But this is a little more personal for everybody who is tuning in right now. I want to share this with you. And I know any of you that tune in every single week, especially those who hang out in the chat room, you'll appreciate this. 2 weeks ago, I did a contest on Thursday night for a Money in the Bank briefcase. And I said inside the briefcase, there would be some goodies. The little Money in the Bank autograph cards, a couple other little things. And one thing I wanted to include in there was an autograph photo. Crazy Cruiserweight. A lot of you see him frequent here. He calls in once in a while, gives us the main event results. He won that contest. That prize was valued $200 to $300. I hate to sound like a dick. The value just went up even more. Because Crazy Cruiserweight won that prize and said, you know what? I want to give that prize to someone else. We have a special friend of the show, A.S.7607. I know she has super chatted many times. I know you all talked to her in the chat room. She got COVID earlier this year. She had family members get seriously ill, depression, a lot of things, one after the other. And I just want everybody out there to understand what the vibe is in what I do here. And this is what I have tried so goddamn hard for the last year and a half to create. I swear to you, I do not regret any shows that I did in the past with any host. It was fun, a learning experience, had a blast, but you do have to evolve and, just recreate and challenge. And, just the vibe of, let me put it this way. I went on iTunes 2.5 years ago to look at reviews. I don't normally look at reviews, but I looked at them and all I kept seeing is, all they do is complain. All they do is knock Raw. All they do is to complain. All they do is knock this. And I'm like, man, that's not what I'm about. And going video with the visual, I thought that would really start showing everybody who I am, what's in here, So for the last year and a half, I've been really trying to have a positive vibe on the shows where all of you could come here, hang out, have a good time. You express an opinion. You don't have to worry about being made fun of. You don't have to worry about being cursed out. That's why the Discord page was created as well. And any of you out there that want invites, I'm going to flood invites this week so you could all join. So I think we're ready to go balls out with it. Anyway, getting back to before. Crazy Cruiserweight won the contest. And Crazy Cruiserweight said, you know what? I want to give it to AS7607. He's not trying to pick up anybody. He just wanted to give it to someone to cheer up. So I got in touch with AS7607 and I said to her, look, I want to give you an autograph photo. Choose anybody you want. I'll get it done if I don't have it. And this is 100% legit, everybody. The photo that she chose with her prize 2 weeks ago was this. Paul Orndorff, her favorite wrestler of all time. That is the actual photo that she got. And man, talk about bittersweet. Couple of days ago, she's ecstatic, almost in tears. No one has been so kind like this. And then a favorite wrestler of all time dies at 71 years old a couple of days later. I didn't tell anybody last week that the autograph photo was Paul Orndorff. Because some things not every little good thing needs to be made public. But with him passing away today, I wrote on social media that Paul Orndorff, one of my favorite wrestlers growing up, legit badass, would never ever work in 2021. Get your hands off me, you fat pig, you hog. Don't ever let me see you here in the gym ever again. Oh, if WWE did a skit like that. The guy legitimately was an asshole to a lot of people. But for the people that got it, loved talking to him. I had the pleasure of being part of that interview in 2003. And this is why I love doing what I'm doing with all of you here. For 18 years, from Hotlines to Minority Report to DTKC, the Breakfast Soup, Breakfast with Blassie, Mass Maniac Show, all up until now, one thing that I have said over the last 18 years, here's a screenshot from my website from 2003. I kept that interview up there, and I was proud of that interview. That interview, I've said for 18 years, was my favorite interview of all time. I don't consider the New Jack stuff interviews because he was a guest and everybody was just hanging out and laughing their ass off. This was a straight up interview. And I loved every minute of it. Not only, and I want people to know this, if you look at the very beginning of that synopsis, a lot of the conversation had to do with the war in Iraq. One thing about Paul Orndorff, truly, truly cool guy outside of wrestling. Asshole to some, but you had to understand the personality. But one thing that you will not hear many people say, and I got to be honest with you, I'm kind of pissed off that I actually thought about it on Twitter before saying it. The guy was a proud American. And I tell you, I took a step back and I said, not Republican, not Democrat, a proud American. He was very proud of this country, loved this country. And I'm not saying that any of you out there that's within the United States don't love your country, but that guy, very patriotic guy. And it sucks that when I wrote that today, I said, you know, I hope that doesn't rub people the wrong way, because it's not meant to rub people the wrong way. Just really, really sad. 71 years old. That's my father's age. My father was born in 1949. My father is 72. And, you know, to see his son, you know, trying to communicate with his dad and trying to see if his dad could remember the days, the 80s, the 90s, WrestleMania 1, and him not remembering. Man, that hits home for yours truly. That hits home for me, because I don't ever want to have that happen, that my father starts suffering from dementia, because the bond I have with my dad right now is like this. And I could only imagine how that just tore the family apart. And that's why I say you didn't need the Paul Orndorff passing today to be reminded of this. I say this every other week. Do not take your family and friends for granted. Do not take for granted the fact that some people may appear to be in great health today, because tomorrow could be a whole different story. And Paul Orndorff, the last time that I ever communicated with him was about 10 years ago at an autograph signing. And the funny thing was, I said to him, I said, do you remember around 2002, 2003, you did an interview for a wrestling hotline? You were kind of forced to because of a cell phone bill. He's like, you? And I said, well, not just me. I said, but me and my colleague. He's like, son of a bitch. But he laughed his ass off. For those that don't know the story behind it, I'll tell a very, very, very quick one. Back in the 90s, the mid to late 90s, mid 90s, because 96 I had my car accident. That was it after that. But up until the mid 90s, I worked doing skip tracing for Chase Manhattan Bank. And you get a lot of tactics to try to find people that skip out on paying the bill. Their address is no longer good. You run credit reports. You do this, you do that. So back in the early 2000s, I was doing the Blackheart Sports Entertainment Hotline. If you look at the screenshot again, if you look at the right, that's our shirt. Zombie, Damage, Arson, Funker. Funker is me. That was my nickname at the time. That was our hotline. Zombie is Timmy Arson, the ECW Zombie. God rest his soul. Excuse me. I'm sorry. No. Arson. Mad Zombie. I'm mixing the two up. Timmy Arson. How ironic is that? That I had a co-host named Zombie, and Timmy Arson, God rest his soul, becomes the ECW Zombie. So I actually did a hotline with two zombies, Mad Zombie and the ECW Zombie. So anyway, long story short, in 2003, we would occasionally do some interviews. I did a lot of interviews with XPW because I worked for them at the time. And we were in the midst of the Iraq war in Iraq, the war in Iraq. So we always loved Paul Orndorff. Badass. Everybody wanted to look like him for the most part. You know, just badass. And Brian Damage contacted us in 2003. He says, I think we can get an interview with Paul Orndorff. And I said, how? Paul Orndorff is late on his cell phone bill. Brian Damage was doing collections for the cell phone company. Brian Damage gets a list of accounts that he has to call and tell them, we're going to shut your phone off if you don't pay your bill. One name that pulls up is Paul Orndorff. I think it was his real name that pulled up. But Brian Damage is like, that's him. So we did some checking and we found that was him. So Brian Damage calls him up and says, look, we got this wrestling hotline. It legit was truly the #1 wrestling hotline in the country that was free. We'd love for you to come on, talk wrestling, politics, whatever you want. And Brian Damage told Paul in return, he'll tell the cell phone company that he promised to pay the bill. That'll give him an extra month to pay. So Paul Orndorff said, I'll do it. But he was like, you assholes. Like because he's late on a cell phone bill, he's being forced to do the interview. We did the interview. And again, the 18 years I've been up here telling everyone that Paul Orndorff interview is my favorite one of all time. Because that gave you a little insight of what we were all about at that time. You know, I put up yesterday for my YouTube channel members an interview with Too Cold Scorpio. It's not even an interview. The Mass Maniac show with the Mass Maniac and yours truly, we had Too Cold Scorpio on a bunch of times. But I put one up yesterday. 10 seconds into the clip, and the show's about an hour and 40 minutes. But 10 seconds in, Too Cold Scorpio's telling a story on how Norman Smiley, remember Norman Smiley, the Wiggle? Norman Smiley impregnated Buff Bagwell's ex-wife, and she gave birth to Norman Smiley's kid. I don't know if it's true, but you tell me where you would hear shit like that on any other show out there. Everybody else is, what do you like to do? What's your favorite food? What do you like to do this? You like this? What's your favorite color? What's your favorite show? Do you like her? Do you like AEW? Right? Nobody talks like that. So we had Paul Orndorff on, and he's talking about the war. He's talking about this. He's talking about that. And that is something that is very special. That's very special. And Paul Orndorff passing away at 71 today, it hit me in the gut. It hit a lot of you in the gut. We're getting older. And a lot of people are passing on. People that we grew up enjoying in the 80s, in the 90s. Yes, Paul Orndorff's career, basically got cut short in the middle 90s. But the guy was an incredible trainer, very, very strict. I know most of you out there are familiar with Hugh Morris and some of his tactics with WWE in the training school. If Paul Orndorff was training people 10 years later, Hugh Morris would come off as like a priest, like an innocent saint. They were very, 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 very strict, stern, nasty, pushing, like drill sergeants, like the military. but it generated a huge crop of talented wrestlers over the years. And I absolutely loved all the tributes that were done today. 99.9% of everyone out there paid tribute to this guy. Even though he was politically incorrect, even though he had a little bit of an, conceited attitude outside of wrestling. But anybody that truly was friendly with Paul Orndorff, guy was a wonderful guy. And his son should be very, very proud of all the love that is floating around tonight. 71 is too young to go. And to see Paul Orndorff, I'll always remember Paul Orndorff as this. Not the frail man that was with his son, not with the handlebar mustache. That's how I'll always remember Paul Orndorff. Thank you for being a big part of my childhood. When he turned on Hulk Hogan, one side of me almost cried, and the other side of me was like, good, fuck you, Hulkster, brother. Guy was awesome, man. Guy was awesome. 71 years old. Shout out to everybody that were a fan of his career. Look, if you want to call in tonight and have something specific to talk about with him, your favorite memory, you could call in. Just like I said, especially tonight, have something specific that you want to get into, because I'd love to get as many people to call in as possible. Obviously tonight, being yours truly by myself, short notice, I'm not going to get into every little detail of Raw tonight. Obviously the last Thunderdome period, I joked on social media. Part of it wasn't a joke. This is very expensive equipment, and I understand why they didn't do it. First of all, I said, it would be fitting if somebody destroyed parts of Thunderdome tonight. Not the furniture in the MVP lounge. And by the way, Bobby Lashley saying no more women, no more champagne. Let me interpret that in simple English. Sorry, ladies, you're not going on the road with all of us. That was the plan all along. When the road starts for the wrestlers, the VIP lounge and the women, bye-bye. That's what happened tonight. I want to stress, Thunderdome, I've been a wrestling fan since 79. I've said that a trillion times. And even though I had a ball in Thunderdome, and I recorded a lot of audio clips of Ted DiBiase in our ears, The Miz once or twice, I will say this, and I will say it a million times over. Nothing beats live fans. I do not like the idea of piping in cheers. I do not like the idea of Ted DiBiase going in our earpiece. All right, everybody, The Miz is coming out. Big boos, everybody. Let's see those thumbs down. Boo. That's what he would do. Boo. I don't like ever dictating fans' reactions. WWE's been doing that for decades. They have manipulated pay-per-views when it used to come out on VHS and DVD. Didn't Hulk Hogan, when he was eliminated in the Royal Rumble, remember Sid Vicious? Blah, 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 big boy, when Ric Flair won. Yeah, alternate commentary, alternate crowd reaction. They haven't done it to this degree. Now, look, the only reason why I'm defending WWE with doing that during Thunderdome is this. And this is the only reason why I defend it. Wrestling needs live fans. I will never forgive all of those websites that told you last year that wrestling will never go back to house shows. That wrestling may not have live fans for years and years and years. And man, I understand why some people clickbait with their titles, but that is awful to say to a wrestling fan. I don't care if it's a guess. I don't care if that's your gut feeling. I don't care if some douchebag told you that that was fact. That is horrendous to say to wrestling fans. Live wrestling fans is the lifeblood of wrestling. It's not just to give the consensus to promotions, what people like and what they dislike. Because if you base everything on social media, you might as well fire 85% of WWE's roster, including writers, promoters, everything else. They would just leave it to 2 people or 3 people, and that's it. Let Paul Heyman, Tony Khan, and Jim Cornette run it, and we're fine. You know, you can't. Social media, the people the loudest is this percentage of live fans. You need live fans. They're the ones that truly tell you what is working and what's not, who they like and who they dislike. It's been decades and decades and decades and decades and decades when you have badasses getting cheered by fans. It's not Bizarro Land. It was Bizarro Land when you would go to Canada, WWF, and you'd see some of the reaction that would go down. But you need live fans back. And since you didn't have live fans in attendance for 19 months, 20, whatever it is, 20 months, somewhere around that number, you're not going to base it on what people are tweeting or what people are saying. Because I think most of you have figured it out by now that a lot of people out there will just rip on stuff just because they want people to talk to them. I've said it a million times over the years, and I'm sorry if this is a little bit of a commentary, but I think a lot of you are feeling what I'm saying right now. I don't like country music. I have nothing against it. I don't like country music. You will never see me on Twitter saying, hey, everybody, I'm not going to watch. I'd rather have my ears bleed than listen to country music today. Oh, there's a country music concert on CBS. I'm not going to watch it. Instead, I'm going to count how many pubic hairs I have. I would never say anything like that. That's moronic. Now I want you to replace country music with AEW. Country music is a form of music. I like hip hop. I like rock. I like metal. I like club music. I like disco. I don't like country music. It's a form of overall music. I don't have to talk about country music just because I like music. So if you're a wrestling fan, why do you have to talk about AEW if you don't like it? Tell me what religion in wrestling says that you're forced to talk. No, every week, putting it down. No, you know, it gets a little tiresome after that. But that's why you can't base it on social media. So the next best thing is to do the Thunderdome. And yes, they dictated a lot of the fans' responses. But look, if I wanted to cheer someone, I'll cheer him. I might get booted because of it. But the point is, we were in uncharted waters. We were in a pandemic. Every promotion got hurt by it. A lot of promotions are out of business. Some promotions are trying to find creative ways to get this jolt of cash that's just not there. You know, people out there that are paying attention to AEW ticket sales, WWE ticket sales, MLW ticket sales, Ring of Honor. There's still a lot of people out there that are afraid to be around people. My fiance, I went away this weekend for 4 days. A little bit of relaxation. Weather sucked. Worked a little bit as well. Didn't get to do the things that I wanted to do. I wanted to go to Mohegan Sun, couldn't go. But the point is, when we would go out to like a diner or something, she wore a mask. She's vaccinated since February. She's still afraid. She thinks that she could still get COVID. And sometimes I say to her, and I feel bad, I say, you're the only person in the restaurant wearing a mask. She says, I don't feel comfortable. So there's a lot of wrestling fans out there that want to go to shows, but are still afraid. Not everybody believes in the vaccine. So people out there trying to insist that we're back to normal, it's not the case. As we get live fans on TV, it'll feel normal because now gets put to the test. Look at Alexa Bliss. I was shocked at how many people tonight were like, wait, is Alexa Bliss a babyface or a heel? I know most of you out there figured it out a month ago. The WWE was suddenly dramatically changing Alexa Bliss's character. Why? Because live fans, they couldn't do the voodoo shit no more. You have to change things around. And I will segue to this. Now, look, Raw had its lowest rating in the history of Raw last week. I don't know what it gets today. Ricochet versus John Morrison knocked it out of the park. Awesome, awesome match tonight. Unfortunately, I don't know if that's enough to give Raw an okay rating these days. But, so we'll get back to Raw. But I want to talk about this. Because remember, the shows we do, we opine. We give our opinion, our analysis, our predictions. And I want to share something with you right now, something that I was thinking about. Oh, before I even show that picture, Home Depot. Home Depot. I'm a fan of Home Depot. Home Depot. You'll know why I'm saying that. The ESPYs took place. WWE moment of the year. Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair won it. Now, okay, I'm not complaining about it. If you look at this photo, they both look incredible. They look incredible whether they're wearing dresses or wrestling outfits, jeans. They're both beautiful. Bayley's injury, this is just opinion. I think Bayley's injury leads to Sasha Banks returning, possibly at Money in the Bank. She might be that last entry. This Friday is the return to live fans. And by the way, shout out to my friends and family out there that super chatted. I will get into all of yours in 2 or 3 minutes. And we're going to start doing little sound effects next week. Little alerts. I haven't decided what alert to do yet. It'll be fun. It'll be cute. But whenever one comes in, it'll be a nice little alert. Audible alert. But yesterday, Sasha Banks, is it just me that Sasha Banks looks a little bit different? I get a little bit of that Cardi B vibe, even though I don't follow. Is that who she's kind of looks like right now? But I'm telling you, everyone, Bayley, her injury. Now, for those that don't know, Bayley suffered an injury last week training. WWE reported that she will be out 9 months. I do not know what her injury is yet. I got back late last night, so I haven't really had a chance to talk to anybody to get some information. But Bayley being out 9 months, that is a dagger in the women's division on SmackDown. Now, I know what some of you are going to say immediately, a dagger. Don Tony, what have they been doing with her? It's Bianca Belair or nothing. Ding dong, hello. WWE now has a major problem on SmackDown. Lack of big-time heels. Sorry, nothing personal against Carmella. If anybody tunes into the show weekly, I have pointed out that she has improved significantly, but Carmella is not enough. Sorry, there's nobody on NXT right now that I think you could bring to the main roster that could replace Bayley on the not just the heel level, the antagonistic heel level. I think Sasha Banks, her with the I can't do it. I've tried so hard to imitate her laugh. Remember the first time she did it? She did it like 2 or 3 times, and I had said on the show, I'm like, what the fuck is that with that laugh tonight? Now it's part of her repertoire. I sound like the guy from Family Guy. She, I think, slides into Bayley's role as the antagonistic heel. This is just opinion. I don't know what you all think about it, but we are returning to live fans on Friday. You have to have somebody show up Friday to have a fucking buzz with live fans returning. It is deliberate to have live fans return before Money in the Bank. You could have simply had live fans return at Money in the Bank. First show back to normal with live fans. Yes, we have WrestleMania, but they could have done it at Money in the Bank. It would have felt even that much more special. But no, they did it on SmackDown. Yes, Fox deal is a part of it. But Sasha Banks, Benjamin says that Sasha is filming for Disney Plus. Yeah. Yeah. And she can't wrestle too. This is just an idea. What about, since Bayley is injured now, we have no opponent for Bianca Belair. I know they're trying to fill in this stuff with Carmella. I say the three words that I always say. And then what? And then what? Becky Lynch, that would be a phenomenal surprise. Becky Lynch is the only other person that I would love to see return and take that last entry in the Money in the Bank, because I said before, Asuka won the briefcase last year. Becky Lynch had to give up her championship because she was pregnant. And she congratulated Asuka. Remember that? Very special moment. Becky Lynch goes into Money in the Bank to reclaim, even though SmackDown title, reclaim the opportunity for a championship that she never lost. Doesn't mean that she has to fight SmackDown or Raw. The thing is, and this is what I stress, SmackDown has a huge problem with heels right now. The lack of. You're not going to put Charlotte on SmackDown right now. Rhea Ripley, they are slowly trying to build back as a babyface, because what they did with her at WrestleMania in place of Charlotte was a disaster. It was a disaster. I mean, it's just amazing. I listened back at my clip a couple of weeks ago. About 5-6 months ago, I said, Rhea Ripley is going to go to the main roster. And I'm getting the same vibes about Rhea Ripley that I got from Charlotte right before she went to the main roster. Now I listen back at that clip and I'm like, that shows you how horrendous her role on the main roster has been so far. And I know some NXT stars, some that even tune in, get a little bit perturbed when people call Raw and SmackDown the main roster. The fact of the matter is, it's the truth. It's the truth. As far as merchandise, as far as pay-per-views, as far as the TV deals, the major stuff, that's all Raw and SmackDown. NXT is not on that level. Not talent. I'm not talking about the talent. I'm just talking about the overall business. Let WWE close up Raw and SmackDown and just run NXT as its own operation. That's like McDonald's closing up their franchise and you have one goofball sitting in a corner with a little tiny hut. Would you like a hamburger? A hot dog cart? You go from a big franchise to a cart. NXT is very, very tiny. So we need a major heel on SmackDown who is an antagonist. And I don't think Becky Lynch coming back as a major heel is anything that anybody wants. I wouldn't want that. Sure, you could go the friend route. Becky Lynch versus Bianca. Friend, mutual respect. I don't know what you call it. And then I say those three words again. And then what? Sasha Banks winning this ESPY with Bianca Belair and them posing together all over the place. You don't think? Remember, this is World Wrestling Entertainment. Was that the best moment in WWE? I don't know. I'm not arguing with it. You don't think there might be a little bit of an entertainment value in this? Where Sasha Banks wants another shot? They had the WrestleMania match and that was it. She disappeared. One Fall says, spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. I got a kick out of a few places tonight. Oh, this was cute. Some of them deleted it. I know some of you saw it because you DM'd me. It was pretty funny. Some people said tonight, yeah, a few people are asking, yeah, that is Bianca Belair. Yeah, that is Bianca Belair. I don't know why she seems, maybe because of the hair not being completely pinned back like she usually does. But trust me, that pose, that's got to lead to another match. You don't put that all over TV right before Money in the Bank. I understand they did not position Money in the Bank right after the ESPYs. Oh, we got to do this. So that's not why they did it. But sometimes you just step in shit. How many of you out there heard of that phrase? Oh, I stepped in shit. I'm going to have good luck. I think WWE stepped in shit with this one. And I think Acme Insta storyline, Insta feud, and it makes total sense. The WrestleMania rematch that's needed. I know some of you out there are not liking the idea of Sasha Banks returning as a heel, but I think it's absolutely necessary. And let's be honest, Sasha Banks as a conceited heel works. It works. And I think that's the way they should go. I want to see the return and turn. I want to see the Money in the Bank return and turn. Sure, Becky Lynch could be in the Money in the Bank and win it. Sasha could still show up and attack Bianca Belair. Why not? Sasha Banks does not have to win the briefcase to take on Bianca. So I want people to remember that. It doesn't mean that Sasha has to be in that briefcase match. I personally think it makes more sense for Becky Lynch to be in that match. But I think Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks is needed for SummerSlam. I think almost every one of you out there may agree with me as well. I think that is a must. So, let me know what you think later. And one last time, Home Depot. Sasha shaves her armpits. News alert. Oh, I didn't say what I was going to say moments ago. I got a kick out of the websites tonight that said Brock Lesnar backstage at Raw. How many of you saw that? Brock Lesnar backstage at Raw. I'm sorry about the off-centered photo. This was because it was set up for the template when Mish and I were going to do this episode. So it is a little off-centered. Trust me, with the other template, it would have been perfect. That is Brock Lesnar currently. I don't know why people are making such a big deal that he has a ponytail. You know, oh my God, he has a ponytail. Yeah, so what? Let him be bald. Let him have a ponytail. Let him have a beard. Let him have a goatee. Let him have a stash. Bearded butchers. I think that's like a video thing that they're doing right now. But I laughed at all the people that said Brock Lesnar at Raw tonight. Raw was taped last week. People actually reported that Brock Lesnar was backstage at Raw tonight. Most of them deleted it. Few people did. And then some people got caught and like, oh no, I'm just ha 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 ha. How many of you remember that old hip hop song? Da ha ha ha, da ha 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 ha. Not funny. Not funny. Brock Lesnar returning, I like it. I don't know what you do though. I think Brock Lesnar should show up on SmackDown. What happens with Roman Reigns after this? John Cena is a possibility, but maybe you do Roman Reigns and Brock at SummerSlam. That might be a different way to go. I don't know. I don't know. And by the way, even though Brock Lesnar has a ponytail right now, if he's going to return in the next couple of weeks, why can't he just grab his scissors and go, tss, tss? People make it seem like, oh, he's going to return with a ponytail? No, he might cut it off by then. Might shave everything off. Brock Lesnar is a badass mother. You know what? Ponytail or no ponytail. By the way, I want to thank all of you out there. Between the emails and the DMs tonight, things were so crazy, I didn't get a chance to thank you all. But last week, when Jinder Mahal showed up on the motorcycle, you might remember I made a joke saying that Drew McIntyre should tear that shit apart. Rip it apart. Or at least drop paint on it, Kofi Kingston style. If you remember that with Randy Orton. But some of you last week said, that bike looks awfully familiar. Some people figured it out today. For those on the audio only that can't see this right now, you could buy this at Walmart right now. It is Drew McIntyre, complete with the Jinder Mahal motorcycle, and you could break it apart in a million pieces. This has been on sale for a few weeks. Yes, it is the same motorcycle. The rims are a little different. If anybody paid close attention, the rims are a little different. But yeah, if I was recapping Raw tonight, cartoon style, I actually could bang out 2 segments tonight. Drew McIntyre, props to Mish. Because Mish talked about the sword last week and said, what sword is this? That's not the sword that he came out at Mania. And Drew came out with the real sword today. He's like, oh, you could keep the replica. I got the real thing here. Why does it seem like Drew McIntyre versus Jinder Mahal is going to be an awfully fast feud? It feels it's going to be awfully fast. A lot of combo in the chat room right now talking about Brock still. Shout out to everybody live, by the way. Much love. And thank you. Without me even asking, if you're enjoying the show tonight, I would greatly appreciate it if you haven't done it already. Smash that like button. There you go. Like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. Oh. I know this has to do with Thursday's show, but I have to address something from 2 weeks ago. And just to give you a little preview for Thursday. Remember I gave away this Luke Harper card? What was it, like Fish and Chips won it? I don't remember his name. Steak and Eggs, I think it was. Or I don't remember who it was. I have it written down. He's probably saying right now, you bastard, you still got the fucking card over here. Well, I had a little bit of a dilemma. Because when we did that, crossword contest, it was RK, Brody, Lee, Marshall, Von Erich. Remember all that? Well, he put rated RKO instead of RK Bro. So I had a bunch of people, 5. That's a lot. Come forward and hey, man, no. It wasn't RKO, it was RK Bro. And one person in particular felt that they won it. So me, I'm never try to be an asshole here. So because I announced him as the original winner, he is getting this card. It is going out tomorrow. It's limited to 50. But I think it's Jose Moreno. I don't remember his name exactly. I will acknowledge him on Thursday. He will get this. He will get this 2018 limited to 50. It is autographed also by Harper. It's even got a relic on there. So he's getting this because he was the first person that got the RK Bro part of it. I don't ever want to be accused of, and I'm not saying any of them accused, but a legit squared up contest is legit. So he is getting that. And the original winner is getting this. And yes, I am parting with 2 Brody Lee signed cards. For the next couple of weeks, when we do contests, it's going to have to do with posting a comment on the video. We're going to try that. We did it when we first started here. We're going to do it again. I haven't decided exactly what we're going to do. It will be a contest. It won't just be posting a comment. So tune in Thursday for that. I want to come up with some pretty cool things, Anyway, what else do we want to talk about tonight? All right, so we talked about Sasha. We could close these out. Okay. Jimmy Uso. A lot of you out there are pretty surprised that WWE is still having him on television. I feel so terrible for Naomi. See, this is just my opinion, everyone. When I did the live watch along last Wednesday of Dynamite, one or two of you live said, hey, did you see the fan that jumped the guardrail? And I said, maybe it's a plant. Fuck him. You don't bring attention to assholes like that. Naomi, you got a bunch of assholes on social media accusing her of not keeping her man straight, Jimmy Uso, to the point where she takes her social media, her Twitter account, offline. She didn't deactivate it. There's a big difference. She took it offline because of the viciousness out there. In my opinion, a word to the wise out there, when people are assholes, you don't need to tell the world that they're an asshole. We all know they're assholes. And some people out there have the need to do that simply because they want themselves to look better. Wow, that's so fucked up what that person did. That's so fucked up what that person said. That's so fucked up. Do not give them attention. Like today, Paul Orndorff. Not every single person paid tribute to the guy. There were a couple of people out there who were a little vicious towards the guy. Those are the people you ignore. Shadow ban them. Obviously, there's no feature on Twitter where you could shadow ban people. I have fun doing it on YouTube. There's so many out there shadow ban. They don't even know. They still post comments every week, and I guarantee you they wonder, like, how come nobody's responding? How come nobody's liking what I'm saying? You know, Naomi is now being blamed partially for the Jimmy Uso stuff. Now, I wanted to talk to Mish about this tonight and debate him a little bit as far as what should be done about Jimmy Uso and television. But, you know, I was looking at 2019. And yes, 2019, Jimmy Uso was found not guilty. Now, I want people to understand something. I said this very quickly last Wednesday, and it was the wrong show for me to do it on because Wednesdays is non-WWE, but real life is real life. So I touched on it. But that was before the WWE still used Jimmy Uso on television. As fucked up as it is that Jimmy Uso drank and drive, I want people to remember somebody who they love and cherish. Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle in TNA. I have so much love and respect for that guy, especially that he overcame his demons. How many times did that guy get pulled over under the influence? Remember all those videos? You know, I can't believe this is happening to me. I'm being singled out because I'm a celebrity. Blah, 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 blah. They followed me home. They singled me out. Trinisha Biggers. Drinking here. Follow me home. Blah, 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 blah. 4, 5, 6 times. Incidents. At least 4. I don't remember everybody saying, oh, the TNA. We thought he had a big problem with drinking. He had a big problem with drinking. I can't believe this is happening to me. It's a vendetta because I'm a celebrity, blah, 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 blah. Jimmy Uso, one charge, got dismissed. Another one, he had the incident when Naomi was in the car also. Jimmy Uso, technically, this is his second incident. You want to consider third, fine. I don't justify bad behavior with other bad behavior. My point is that for everybody out there, they're like, well, you know, we got to wait and see if Kurt Angle is found guilty or not guilty and this and that. No, it's a vendetta. You know, you got to be a little bit of an even playing field here. Do I think Jimmy Uso has a problem? I think so. But here's the problem. Here's the problem, and I brought this up last week. Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy, you know, when I put on the YouTube channel members yesterday, the Wrestlelicious picture, that episode was noteworthy. The retro episode was because that was the episode where Jeff Hardy got arrested and they found all the drugs and the paraphernalia. I didn't want to put Jeff Hardy's mugshot on the picture because most of the charges he was cleared of. So I put the Wrestlelicious stuff instead. My point is this. Jeff Hardy, has passed a lot of wellness tests, drug tests, alcohol, everything with WWE. It's not against the law to drink, but Jeff Hardy's done a lot of piss and blood tests since he's been back, and he's passed them all. We don't know if Jeff Hardy ever gets behind the wheel and drives home after a couple of cold ones. I'm not accusing him of it, but we don't know. You don't know if I ever drive home after having a couple of cocktails. I don't know if any of you out there ever drive home in the last bunch of months after having a couple of cold ones. You don't know until somebody gets caught. We don't know if Jimmy Uso really got himself clean for the last 2 years, and then maybe because of 4th of July weekend, it doesn't justify it. There's no excuse for what happened. I thought it was kind of ironic that his alcohol level was 205, because 205 live. But the thing is, you got to take a step back and just try to put this into your... We don't follow these people every single day. We can't immediately assume that Jimmy Uso every week, and this just happened to be the week that he got caught. We don't know. We don't know. And thank you, everybody, for the kind words. I try to keep it real over here. It's very easy to say, suspend him, fire him, this and that, throw him in rehab. The fact of the matter is, he drank and drove. It's fucked up. You should be angrier at the police department that only arrested him on $500 bond. $50. That's for sex on the beach. That's for mimosas in Florida. $50 he could have been out of jail. Why is someone that has 2-3 arrests for drinking and driving, almost 3 times the legal limit, and is only $500 bond? That should give you an idea as far as what we're looking at over here. Now, I had someone tell me that the .20 and the .205 might have been incorrect. Now, I don't know. I'm not the court. I'm not the officers. I'm not Jimmy Uso. All I'm saying is that what I think should happen is Jimmy Uso, and I'll tell you something else. You probably are going to say to me, DT, it's not a big deal. He might have gotten no sleep that night when he got arrested last Monday. I want to show you something that I put together. I'm sorry for audio only out there, but if you do want to stop by and check out the video portion of it, go to the hour mark. That is a tale of 2 mugshots, almost 2 years to the day. The left is July of 2019. The right is July 2021. Is it just me, or it seems like Jimmy Uso has aged a crazy amount in 2 years? I don't care about the gray on the beard. Shit, I have gray, and I dye it. But you look at them side by side, especially around the eyes. If you look at even like the facial area, it just, I don't know. Something just does not look right. And that doesn't, to me, is not just, he was probably up all night, didn't get sleep, and that's why. I don't know, man. You look at those. If you were to, I know people are right now like, holy shit, that's crazy. Seriously, look at those side by side. If I told you those were 10 years apart, you probably would say to me, okay, yeah, all right. That is 2 years apart. 2 years. I don't know. Something is off. Something is off. I am not one to kick someone while they're down. I believe in redemption for a lot of people out there. I think Jimmy Uso needs help, because even if he was stone cold clean for the last 2 years, I wouldn't even think about having a moving violation. This is what I explained. And this is probably, I understand you could kill someone, you could hit. I get all that. It's a powerful thing to say, but it's true. It's true. But I'll say this. I'm a defensive driver instructor in my profession. I'm an insurance broker, and I also teach safety classes. Safety classes are a nice little income on the side, because everybody takes the class for an insurance discount, get points off their license. Here's the thing. If I get one moving violation, a red light, speed, stop sign, maybe seatbelt is okay. But if I get one moving violation, I'm not allowed to teach a safety class anymore. Now, I don't break the traffic laws because I don't want to lose that income. Jimmy Uso is involved in the biggest storyline in WWE, period. Jimmy Uso, with a clear mind, thinks it's okay to get behind the wheel almost 3 times the legal limit. Now, sure, I know this is going to sound really, really stupid, everyone. No, I never thought about doing defensive driver man as far as a gimmick. I think Deli Man, come on, everyone, seriously. I respect others that do, the YouTube podcasting and stuff like that, and they work their asses off. I give props to all of them. But, I don't know anyone out there that has come up with a wrestling character with a custom mask, doing the whole Italian stuff and everything. I try to be a little creative over here. But no, defensive driver man was not one of them. But getting back to Jimmy Uso. I know this is going to sound tremendously stupid. But trust me, when people get drunk, a lot of them have no idea what they're doing. How many of you out there over the years, let's be honest, you might have picked up someone in the bar that may have had a couple of drinks too many, and they got a little loose, a little relaxed. I'm not saying you took advantage of them, but that's what happens. You go to a club, you go to a bar, you go on the beach, South Beach, spring break, and you even see news reports, and you see all these people, ooh, and they're like taking their clothes off. They would never do that without alcohol in their system. So Jimmy Uso, your blood alcohol level is 0.20. He probably may not have even realized that he had a WWE job. That's why you do not drink to that level, period. I don't want to lose teaching defensive driver classes. This motherfucker has got the biggest part involved in the biggest storyline on TV. And he is careless to drink to that level, get behind the wheel. Yes, a lot of us, we might have 1 or 2 drinks and we feel, I feel fine. I'm going to drive home. Why do I want to take an Uber? Then the next day I got to take an Uber back to the car and this and that. I'm fine. I'm just got to go 10 minutes. A lot of us have done that over the years. I used to do it when I was much younger. But it gets to a point, especially after you get arrested twice, and especially that you have a major storyline, a serious job with some serious income, a public figure. And now, my God, Jimmy Uso, if you don't want to do this for yourself, do it for your fucking Naomi. Do it for your sweetheart. Because she's getting all the bullshit right now because of it. I don't know, man. I don't know. On the surface, we're like, how stupid could you be? But at the end of the day, I brought this up last Wednesday, and I got to say one last thing, and we'll move on. And I thank you all for the kind words. I'm looking at the chat as we're going along. Now, I saw a few people last week write something that really rubbed me the wrong way, and I just didn't say anything about it. Some people were saying, like, fuck it. Fuck the idea that alcoholism is an illness. Staying home in COVID and not being able to have the freedom that you normally have and having this emotional distress over your head that you could catch COVID and kill your family or get sick and this and that. You can't do the things you want to do. You can't go out with your friend. You can't do this, do that. Like, that's the true illness. Well, guess what, geniuses? and I'm not defending Jimmy Uso for this, but I guarantee you people even on TV were dealing with some serious depression of not being able to do the things that they normally do, having this fear over their heads. So I know a lot of people who started drinking. I don't know too many people, but I know at least one or two that started experimenting with narcotics to try to make them feel better because they were getting this serious. I know people whose relationships are over because of COVID. I know one person who got divorced because of COVID. COVID fucked up a lot of people. So, you know, yes, I agree with all of you that can say, oh, no, Jimmy Uso can still go out. He's got a great job. He's on TV. He's this, that. I get it. I get it. But even famous people get depressed. That doesn't justify drinking. There's nothing that justifies drinking get behind the wheel. But, you know, there could be more with this going on. We know some very successful actors and actresses, God rest their souls, who have taken their lives on overdoses, accidental overdoses, intentional overdoses, to masquerade depression. And we look at it on TV and we say, how could this person be depressed like this? This person has it all. I don't want to name any specific names, even outside of wrestling, but there's names over the years that you say to yourself, oh my God, I had no idea. Yeah, depression attacks everybody in different ways. That's why I say, Jimmy Uso, I think probably the best thing for WWE right now is they need to write him off TV, in my opinion. I think Roman Reigns needs to turn on his brother, his family member. I think Jey Uso will need to turn on Jimmy Uso as well. I think they both will have to pretty much beat the living crap out of him, get him off TV, and he's got to do something. I don't know if rehab's the answer. Soul searching is not the answer. You know what I mean? And again, there's been other wrestlers over the years who have been pulled over many more times. And people are like, oh, that's fucked up. He's got to do something about it. Man, is he still wrestling AJ Styles Sunday? He better wrestle. You know, it's a fucked up situation. But I think the best thing for Jimmy Uso right now is he needs to take care of this. And if he didn't go into rehab before, he probably needs to go into rehab now. He has to probably learn that he can't do this. I personally think Florida needs to take his license away for a year. Yeah, a year from now, he might do the very same thing. There's some people that no matter what you say and do, they will never learn. But shaming Naomi into giving guilt to Jimmy Uso is absolutely wrong. It's absolutely wrong. I hope he could take care of this. I really do. So anyway, I'd like to shout out a few special people. Wolfman Johnny. Shout out to the Wolfman. Rest in peace, Paul Orndorff. He feels WWE did the best they could with Thunderdome, but he can't wait for the fans to return. And thank you for the kind words, my friend. You know, I want people to understand too, you know, because a few people, I saw them write this tonight, but I didn't say anything. I mean, I understood why, you know, not everybody knew that Raw was taped tonight. There was no 10-bell salute for Paul Orndorff because tonight's Raw was pre-taped. That's why the commentators never acknowledged Paul Orndorff other than the graphic at the beginning of the show. SmackDown is a different story. I would hope that we see a little video package paying tribute to Paul Orndorff. He definitely deserves it, in my opinion. But tonight, you know, I understand why the graphic was the only thing done. And I agree with you. WWE did the best they could under these special times. Again, I don't think fans' reactions should ever be manipulated. You know, yes, I mean, some people will cut promos to get fans to get behind it, or the opposite. That's how wrestling works. But to force a certain narrative, yeah, it's not natural, and it bites pro wrestling in the ass sometimes. But we were in a pandemic. You had to make the best of it. I will tell you this, and this is just an opinion. Anyone out there that has a blog or a website or a radio show or a podcast, if they go and say Thunderdome, the worst ever, horrendous, the worst in history, we were in the middle of a fucking pandemic. What would you have rather? No wrestling at all? You imagine if we didn't have wrestling? Could you imagine if it would have just been dead silence? Tell me. And this is what I always challenge people at. It's very easy to go on Twitter and complain. It's very easy to throw a couple of shots and complain. Notice how no one ever gives you a solution. Tell me what you would have done different. Tell me what you would have done different. Okay, Thunderdome, you would actually have loud crowd reactions. I know in Thunderdome they said, all right, everybody be loud. Nobody's voice was actually audible when you watched Raw every week. And I brought this up last week. If that was the case, you'd have every young girl out there, well, guys too, that were attracted to, I love you, Ricochet. You would have people yelling and screaming. You wouldn't have this constant soccer noise every single week. We figured it out 7-8 months ago. The only reason why they were telling everybody to be loud is because who wants to sit at home and go like this? We'd look like morons. So if you scream at the top of your lungs, you're like, oh, they can't hear it, but it looks better on TV. What would you have done different? That's my challenge to everyone out there that is going to rip the shit out of Thunderdome. Tell me what you would have done different. That would have been acceptable. I don't think anybody has an answer. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. Look, this point forward, if WWE programming doesn't get better, which I think is almost impossible, AEW is going to get better, MLW, Ring of Honor, NWA, all these, but it's got to get better. It's got to get better. It's not just live fan noise and suddenly a light bulb goes on. That's not the way it works. But the fact that live fans are there and you're touring and the wrestlers get into it, you could see the natural reactions and the atmosphere, the aesthetics, the visual, everything about it. I'm telling you, it's a chain reaction. One leads to the other. Believe me when I tell you, when people absolutely, I'm just using a random match, when people were absolutely loving Serena Deeb versus Riho for the AEW pre-show, the buy-in, go back and see that live reaction of the fans, that noise, that energy got into both of them. They fed off of it, and that got them to the next level. That adrenaline rush, that feeling of the noise, that if you've never been out there, it's hard to understand. Why do you think baseball home field advantage is so important? You think the noise of the fans does not affect the players? They want home field advantage. They want to feel at their home. They want to hear people cheering for them, rooting for them. If you're a heel, you want to hear people shitting on you. You don't want to look at Thunderdome and again, the wrestlers, they didn't hear the soccer noise that we all heard at home for the most part. Once in a while, the WWE's production would screw it up. And you would hear a wrestler cutting a promo and you'd hear like this big echo and like, oh, that sounded a little weird. Yeah, because in the arena, they can't hear the crowd noise unless WWE pipes it in that building so the wrestlers know how to react to it. Why do you think Bayley heard so clearly whenever Michael Cole would open up his mouth? And you'd be surprised how many people still don't notice to this day. Athleticgamer. What's up, my friend? Been a few years. Found us back in 2016, 17, when he was 16 or 17, which means you were born around 2000. He found us because of Epic Sports. Oh, he did. Okay, I see it. June 27, 2000. Happy belated birthday, my friend. He's 21 now. He's kind of depressed growing up. Well, how the fuck do you think I feel right now? Now I'm over double your age, motherfucker. How do you think I feel right now? You think I feel good? You're 21. Look at me. I don't. You think I like it when I go to it, sir? Sir, I don't like being called sir. I'm just messing with you. Happy 21st, my friend. Yeah, the years do fly by. That wrestling stuff I showed you before, that's 16 years old. That little clip they showed, that's 16 years ago. So just think about that. I mean, that's how fast years go by. But you know what? Make the best of it, man. You turn 21. We're getting out of this pandemic. Now you could go out with your friends, be responsible. Now you could have a little something to drink, and not just because you turned 21, but, enjoy it, man. Don't take for granted those years. Believe me, don't make the mistake that a lot of people do. Muhammad Soria turned 24 this weekend. Happy birthday, Muhammad. Much love. And Athleticgamer, I don't know if you could see it right now, but a lot of people in the chat room are wishing you happy birthday as well. So happy 21st to you. Happy 24th to Muhammad. Happy birthday to everybody out there who's had one in June and upcoming. Don't take the years for granted, because they do fly by. And trust me, you don't want 3-5 years go by and you're like, oh my God, now I'm 25. Oh shit, now I'm 30. Just think about this. 20 years ago. Well, hey, let's talk about this. Last week was the 25th anniversary of NWO. 25 years ago. Just think about this. 25 years from now, I'll be in my 70s. And just think, and forget about me for a minute. Just think, in 25 years, we're going to celebrate the 50th anniversary. Just think, in 2 years, we're going to have the 30th anniversary of Monday Night Raw. 30 years. The years do fly by when you get older. But if you have fun, man, keep the memories. Try to document it with photos and videos. Trust me, all this video stuff that I show on occasion, yes, I know it ruffles the haters a little bit. But as bad as people made me feel back when I did all that stuff, they said that I was the drizzling shits, horrendous and awful. And that's why I stopped doing it after a few years. But I'm so thankful that I kept it, because there were many times over the last 15 years I just going to chuck everything in the garbage. It was so bad and embarrassing that I would never wanted to go back and revisit and look at it. And once I went video and I said, I'll share a little, we'll laugh at it. It's so many years ago, and people were like, hey, that's actually not that bad. Now I'm pissed off because I'm like, fuck, I should have never stopped. Maybe I would have gotten a little bit better, So that's why I say, document your stuff. You look back on it, you laugh. It's fun. I have some videos of yours truly from 25 years ago that I will be sharing on upcoming Thursday. You'll see most of the videos 15 years ago. We're going to go 10 more years beyond that. And you'll see what DT was like in the middle 90s. Thank you again, my friend. Happy birthday. Devin M., he says, spot on, DT. Thunderdome was good, but fans are essential. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Thunderdome was a necessity. I wouldn't go to this extreme, but I know someone who got stuck in the mountains for 2 days. Not my friend Kenny, but I do have video of that, though. I have video when he came back a day and a half later and his lips were all green and purple, and he passed out, and we still hazed him. We still took a cup of noodles, and we cut the bottom of the cup, and we took the transistor radio and put it in his ear. You'll see, I have the video of it. But I know someone else who got lost in the mountains for a day and a half. Had no water, no streams, no nothing. He had to drink his own urine. I know that sounds insanely disgusting, but, emergencies, you have to take certain measures. WWE, it's not the equivalent of getting stuck in the mountains for 2 days with no water, but the point is it's an entertainment company. It's a wrestling company. It's meant for live fans. Wrestling without fans is it's nothing. So they improvised. They came up with this. It was safe. Obviously, wrestlers still got COVID, an employee still got COVID, but I guarantee you no fans that were in Thunderdome caught COVID because of Thunderdome. You see where I'm going with this? This was the safest measure WWE could do to make an arena feel full. With NXT, they did a couple of rows. It sounded okay, but of course, that still wasn't good enough. Oh, the fans suck. The fans in the Capitol Wrestling Center, they suck. There's nothing WWE could have done to make these people happy. Because even if Thunderdome was cool, and even if the NXT Capitol Wrestling, which I thought they were fine, but even if they were loud, they blame it on the wrestlers. They blame it on Gerwitz. They blame it on Bruce Pritchard. They blame it. There's always something to knock. So if you don't like it that much, there's a trillion other promotions out there. Follow them. But they won't. For the simple reason that they don't want 9 people to tune in. Yeah, man. Yeah, that fucking blah, 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 blah promotion. Oh, my God. Billy Go Bob is awesome. No, they'd rather watch shit that they hate because they can complain about it and find 1,000 other people to complain about it. And, hey, I'm part of a conversation with 1,000 people. That's what floats your boat. I respect that. Seriously, I do. I'm not. That's what you do. But, you know, I'd rather laugh at the end of the day than to be a miserable cunt. Pardon my language. There are so many miserable cunts out there. And me, I don't remember who it was earlier, but they said every time I see DT and Thunderdome tonight, all I see him is dancing and this and that. They're just trying to have fun, man. I could be dead in 5 years, and I'm going to fucking, you know, care about shit. Have fun, everybody. Seriously. Yes, 200 live on YouTube right now. Much love. We also got Facebook and Periscope going right now. You know, I am partial to my YouTube family because this is where I have, you know, my whole family. And what the hell? What the hell is that? Do you hear that? What the hell is this? I have no idea what that is. How the hell? Where did that audio come from? That was weird. That was pretty freaking weird just now. Holy sh! Oh, I know why. I know why. I have an ad in. Oh, I know why. Okay. Woof. Now I had to worry about. That was an ad in the background because I got some notes in the background. Woof. That kind of got me a little nervous over here. Oh, you didn't hear it, Eddie. Thank God you didn't hear it. I have some, you know, notes in the background, and I have an email account, and apparently a banner just popped up with like dance music, and I'm like, YouTube copyright. I heard it over here. That scared the shit out of me. So, Russell, I talked about Aleister Black, Malachi Black on Wednesday. I will give you some updated thoughts in a couple of moments. I'll be more than happy to bring that up. Crazy Cruiserweight, it's officially July 13th. Today would have been MF Doom's 50th birthday. Wow. Wow. Fucking guy, and that years fly by. He would have been 50. Holy shit, in Cruiserweight. I hope you heard the tribute that I gave you a little bit earlier. Do not super chat yes or no. I know you would do something like that, but beginning of the show, I talked about the prize for AS 7607, and I wasn't originally going to reveal one of the prizes in the briefcase, but I did reveal it earlier because he passed today, and I wanted you to know about it because you were the one that gave AS 7607 the prize. That I asked her 2 weeks ago, who's your favorite wrestler? Past or present? Give me one. I'll get you an autograph. She says Paul Orndorff. That was the actual photo that she got. So, Cruiserweight didn't hear it yet. Yeah, AS7607 and Crazy Cruiserweight, definitely tune into the first 10 minutes of today's show. I think you'll appreciate it. You'll appreciate it. And look, it's sad that Paul Orndorff passed. 71 years old, too young to go. As I said earlier, it hits me at home because my dad is the same age, and I could only imagine going through that. Thank God my father is still, he keeps himself busy, and even though he had what he had early this year, you know what I'm talking about. I think he forces himself to keep busy because I think the day that he decides he's just going to sit and rest, that's it. I really believe that. As nuts as that sounds, JBL, just totally random out of nowhere, but JBL, a lot of you may not even know that he said this, but a while back, he said that he, I think, likes to play chess, and he likes to do things to keep his brain stimulated. And there's a lot of people out there in wrestling who are now getting older, who took a lot of abuse early in their careers, who do a lot of mind challenges and keeping their minds really, really active. And some people think that actually could prevent, some ailments. Now, dementia and others, I don't know if there's anything you could do about that. I don't know if there's anything that could have been done for Paul. But I will tell you that I try to keep my brain stimulated. I'm much younger, but I can only imagine the day that I come up here and I start talking like I have marbles in my mouth and keep screwing up sentences. Then I realize, okay, too many brain farts going on over here. So, yeah. But thank you, Crazy. Thank you again. Rofe, shout out to you, my friend. Don't stop believing. Peace in the Middle East. Nir lives in Israel. And I'm sure a lot of you out there across the globe know about what's going on in the Middle East. So, Nir, stay safe, my friend. And yeah, keep the hope up. Keep it up. Absolutely keep it up. But shout out to you, my friend. Malachi Black. Look, WWE had a 30-day non-compete instead of 90 days. Let me say it like this. And I say this in a very respectful way. For the people out there, and when I say this, I'm always directing it to people that do shows. People have websites, blogs, blue check marks, writers, journalists. Because it's very easy for the clickbait to laugh at WWE. I'm going to throw you a little curveball. Chat room. Right now. Now, I don't have it set up where your comments can show live right now, but everybody who watches on a replay will see exactly what you write. Let me ask you this. Right now, there is no wrong answer. Malachi Black, Aleister Black, just made his AEW debut. Which promotion do you think he had a bigger contract? You think he was making more money in WWE or AEW? I want you to write it right now. There is no wrong answer. Be honest. There's only one of two answers. Which promotion do you think he made more money? WWE, which contract do you think was more money? So now that it's starting to come in, there's a 5-second delay. Okay, so we got WWE, 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 AEW, AEW, WWE, WWE, AEW, WWE, hands down WWE, a lot of WWEs, a few AEWs. Here's my point. There's no wrong answer, by the way, whichever one you chose. But here's my point that none of these people bring up. They could laugh that WWE only had a 30-day no-compete for Aleister Black. When you have a 90-day no-compete, WWE pays you. They pay you. So if Aleister Black, we don't know how much his contract is in AEW. I'm assuming that it is far less for one reason. Aleister Black has the creative freedom to work other promotions. Well, I shouldn't say it like that. To work and make some money on the outside, whether it's social media, whether it's Cameo, because he is on Cameo, I believe. I'm not sure, but he might be. By the way, Friday, we'll talk about some of the Cameo prices. Alexa Bliss, she's on Cameo right now, $800. 8 bills. Aleister Black has other opportunities to make some money outside of AEW. That's why I believe his contract is less. He's worth it. I love his debut. You look at him and you look at Andrade and you feel kind of bad for Andrade. And yes, he debuted a couple of weeks ago, but even then fans were kind of like not giving a shit all that much. But here's the thing with Aleister Black. If he was being paid a lot more in WWE and his no-compete ended in 30 days, that means he lost out on 60 days of being paid by WWE to stay home. So who's LOLing now? Who's LMFAO in now? You know, it's very easy to laugh at WWE. Aleister Black, he fucked you over. 30-day no-compete instead of 90. He stuck it. He took this salami and shoved it right up your ass. Aleister Black lost 60 days of WWE pay sitting at home. Who's smoking? I don't think anybody ever thought of it like that. Okay, he's done in 30 days. Yeah, and that means he lost out on 60 days of WWE money. The money. See how it's so easy to be funny like that on shows and social media, but they don't think about that aspect. Are you paying Aleister Black's other 60 days of money he lost out on? The difference? Is everyone out there paying the difference? What are you talking about? This is Kevin Nash level? This is not real. You hear it? It's not real. This freaking thing is heavy. This thing is this is heavier than a championship belt. I would not drop it to make it set so you can see how heavy it is, because if it breaks, I lose my salami. Nobody messes with DT salami. But I absolutely love Malachi Black, Aleister Black in AEW for one reason. AEW will give him the creative freedom to really take that character to another level. By the way, we're going to take calls in a few minutes. I thought about it tonight with Ricochet and John Morrison, especially Ricochet. Up until recently, Ricochet, I think we would all agree, is one of the most misused WWE stars in the last 5 years. I think one of the most, he's got to be in the top of the list, near the top. Most misused, that is still under contract with them. I watch Ricochet do a 450 splash while standing on the padding, separating Thunderdome, you know, the ringside padding. I see him do a shooting star press, running and diving onto the ring post in the corner, and then doing a shooting star off of it. I mean, yes, we've seen him do crazy-ass moves in his career. Prince Puma, you go wherever you want. And I thought about it today. As I'm watching his match, Ricochet's versus Morrison, I said to myself, you imagine Ricochet in AEW? Seriously. Whether you like AEW or not, one thing you have to agree on. If Ricochet wanted to do a 450 splash off the roof of the building, maybe it wouldn't happen, but something tells me Tony Khan would be like, Look at, I was watching clips from AEW Dark tonight, and Private Party was in a match. I think it was Mark Quinn did like some flip over the top rope. And he landed, and his foot like hit the guardrail or whatever, but he looked right in the camera, cocky, because that's his character right now, and looked nice. You go back and you watch it again, and whoever he landed on was probably this close to breaking his neck in half. You know, when you do crazy-ass moves, They look awesome, and they look crazy ass. But you're playing Russian roulette with someone getting seriously injured. That's why you don't see a lot of crazy-ass moves from Ricochet and Morrison, this and that. You know that if any of these wrestlers were able to go to AEW, AEW would give them the creative freedom to go fucking nuts on TV. And we would be jaw-dropped like, holy shit. But at the same time, you know, those moves are increasing the possibility of getting seriously injured from it. Sabu's a good example, but Sabu, there was, you know, a handful of moves he would do. But some of the shit, you know, that you see now, I mean, you know, it's reinventing some high-flying shit. Ricochet just takes it to another level. The guy is incredible. And I just imagine, like in AEW, there's shit that this guy would probably, oh, no, I could do this. Don't worry about it. I could do this. And I think AEW is like, good. And I don't want to see anybody injured. You gotta be holy shit, but you gotta have a little bit of safety with it as well. But I tell you, man, over the last couple of weeks, Morrison and Ricochet, my highlight, not even close. That was my highlight. Let me pull up my Raw results because I don't have them in front of me. Just give me 1 second. I don't have any notes today because, like I said, I had with Mish, I'm just looking at the match results from today. Here we go. So, Xavier Woods versus Bobby Lashley. Xavier Woods with the fruit roll-up. Nikki A.S.H with the fruit roll-up on Asuka. I can't say that Ivar did a fruit roll-up on AJ Styles, but the pin looked like a fruit roll-up, but Ivar actually hit a finisher, so I don't include that as a fruit roll-up. Omos looked spectacular. Omos is not a 5-star wrestler. He's not even a 3-star wrestler. But for Omos' size and the power moves he does, he's smooth. It's very one-sided, his matches, but Omos impressed the shit out of me today. Greg, I still can't understand why ash holes have not caught on. I said it that night. We need, you know, if you're a fan of Nikki A.S.H, you're an ash hole. It's not meant to be derogatory. I can't believe that is not caught on. But here's the thing. Xavier Woods pinning Bobby Lashley, I saw a lot of people early on complaining, very livid. How do you have Bobby Lashley lose to Xavier Woods right before the pay-per-view? This is why you need to watch the whole episode of Raw before commenting. Him losing to Xavier Woods in storyline was the tipping point for Lashley to say, enough of this shit. He even said bullshit tonight with the MVP lounge and the women and the champagne. He is going to beat the living shit out of Kofi. It's not going to be just one-sided match. But I've been saying for a few weeks now that I think Big E is going to cash in the briefcase. He will win Money in the Bank, and he can cash in the briefcase and go up against Lashley. If you notice, you know, Xavier Woods, Kofi, they're still wearing the New Day shirts with Big E smack right in the center. And yes, Big E is their brother, even though he's on SmackDown. But that is how you get Big E on Raw without the draft. Because now there's rumors the draft is not going to go down until October. So you go from now to October. How do you get Big E on Raw if he takes on Lashley? Easy. He wins the briefcase. He shows up on Raw, teases that he may cash it in against Lashley. Lashley wants it. And that's why each member of New Day is going to take on Bobby Lashley. And each member of New Day has gotten a pinfall win. The only thing is, Kofi was non-title. Xavier was non-title. Big E's may not be non-title. See where I'm going with it? Each member of the New Day will have a win over Bobby Lashley. That's where I think it's going. I don't know if they're going to split up MVP and Lashley. I think that would be a mistake. I think you keep them together. But again, they're going on the road. What I said at the beginning of the show, the women were not going on the road with them. The women, their deal was until the final night of Thunderdome. Thunderdome ends, so be your temporary contracts. That's the deal. So Xavier Woods beating Lashley was to set up the ending of Raw tonight, where Lashley has had it. He feels he's lost his focus because of the women and the champagne and the party and this and that. I found it funny when Lashley told the women to leave the ring. Why did they put the champagne down? Seriously, did you see those two girls? The women? They put the champagne glass down and left the ring. Yeah, it's supposed to be for more of a visual that Lashley's tossing around all the props. But, you know, if I'm one of the women in the ring and I'm dancing and partying and you're telling me to leave the ring, I'm taking my fucking drink with me, motherfucker. So that's why Xavier Woods needed to beat Bobby Lashley tonight. Fruit roll-up or not. Otherwise, it wouldn't have made as much sense in the very end. Nikki A.S.H. beating Alexa Bliss, Naomi, and Asuka in a fatal four-way. Before the match started, Alexa Bliss was in a playground with Doudrop and Eva Marie. Doudrop kind of like being friendly with Alexa Bliss. Eva Marie will have none of it. Eva Marie being the nasty bitch that she is. And she would make her presence known later on. Because during this fatal four-way match, Doudrop and Eva come down the ringside. Alexa Bliss comes out. I think you could all figure out now Doudrop does what Eva Marie says. We get some live fans and they build it up long enough. One day Doudrop will say no. And the fans will pop. They hope the fans will pop. I think the fans will pop. They will sympathize with Doudrop. Eva Marie will run the bad mouth really, really hard on one episode of Raw to the point where Doudrop may, quote unquote, be in tears or close to it, and fans will have that much more sympathy. I don't want to compare it to Baron Corbin, but feels like that's where they're going with Corbin, make him a little baby face. But Eva Marie and Doudrop come out during the Fatal 4-Way. Alexa Bliss scares Eva Marie, and then Doudrop, I don't know, I got to be honest, it looked lame on TV. Doudrop picks up Alexa Bliss, and they tried to make it look like a power move, but really all she did was like run into the padding and just drop Alexa Bliss on the floor. And since it's Thunderdome and since nobody there was live, not even yours truly, Alexa Bliss could run away, run along the padding. Nobody at Thunderdome could say, I see you. No, that's not how Thunderdome ever worked. So Alexa Bliss runs around and Doudrop and Eva Marie can't find her. Match was okay, but Nikki A.S.H. getting the win. Remember, she lost last week. So I think WWE realized, like, we fucked up. So Nikki gets a win back today. I will do predictions for Money in the Bank on Friday. I want to see who is that last entrant before I make my predictions. So, Ivar over AJ Styles. Look, I know a lot of people were not happy with AJ Styles losing. At this stage in his career, it's not going to hurt him in any way, shape, or form. It's to give the suspension of disbelief that the Viking Raiders have some shot at winning these tag belts. And by the way, their match now will be at Money in the Bank, not on next week's Raw. So they're actually going to do it Money in the Bank. Wouldn't surprise me if it ends up being a pre-show match. King of Waco, of course they could do the Alexa Bliss storyline now with the live fans. They've done no special effects in God knows how long. They've gotten the fans used to no special effects. But trust me, you know, you will see Lily. Lily will make an appearance again. Oh, no. Lily will be back. Trust me, Lily will be back. For $800, you could have Alexa Bliss and Lily right now in a cameo. I kid you not. Go on Cameo. WWE is allowing them to do cameos again, but you see the kind of prices. Oh, you're going to take half my money? No problem. We'll charge $800. A little thirsty tonight. So Ivar beats AJ Styles. Omos over Erik. Omos looked great. Humberto Carrillo, he got his ass handed to him in the back before his match against Sheamus for the U.S. title. Damian Priest, supporting his fellow Latinos. Damian Priest wanders around, sees Humberto getting his ass kicked in the back. Humberto insists on having the match even though he got his ass kicked. So they ring the bell 15 seconds later. Humberto Carrillo loses. That's it. Sheamus kick, done. Continues to beat down Carrillo again. And honestly, after Carrillo broke his nose, he'd be like, yeah, you deserve it, motherfucker. And Sheamus is stretching his mouth. And Damian Priest gets involved. So it looks like Damian Priest versus Sheamus is the next feud, and I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. Yeah, sticking up for his fellow Boricua. Ricochet over Morrison. Miz in the wheelchair doing his antics. Spraying Ricochet. That was pretty lame that Ricochet almost lost because of distraction of water. There was one point later on in the match, they tore it up. They brawled in the back. Again, nobody was live on Thunderdome, so they could have brawled outside in the parking lot. As long as we could see it at home, that's all that mattered. Hell, they could have recorded things on different days. But Miz with the drip stick, he hits Ricochet with it. Ricochet turns around and Morrison almost beats him. Fruit roll-up, by the way. But they used the ladder during the match. They actually had it draped on the outside. If there was any complaints about the match, towards the end, Morrison got the upper hand. And if you watch the very end of the match, the ladder was draped outside the ring. And you could see Morrison acting like he's gingerly getting up to do a move in the corner, do a high-flying move. And if you notice closely, all he's doing is really setting up the ladder. And sure enough, Ricochet gets on his feet, knocks Morrison on the ladder, and does a beautiful splash through the ladder. Great visual. And at one point, because they're all in the Money in the Bank ladder match, minus the Miz, Riddle comes out. And I fucking love all of you out there that remembered this. You remembered about 6 months ago when I did the turtle in this room. I'm not doing it now, but you remember I only had shorts on and no shoes or socks, and I did the turtle. And it was the funniest thing. Riddle comes out on his scooter, and he takes Miz. And I know it's a horrible thing to say, but I thought of Joey 924 while he was doing this. And I thought to myself, if we did that to Joey back in the day, it probably would have been the same thing. He takes the wheelchair and he pushes it backwards. So Miz is like laying on the floor and his feet are pinned up in the air, looked, pretty funny. And then Riddle lays on the floor and he's doing the turtle. He's doing the freaking turtle because Miz couldn't turn over. He was stuck in a wheelchair. And this, distracted Morrison a little bit, but in the upper, the Ricochet gets the upper hand. And while Miz is laid out on the floor, acting like a turtle on his shell and he can't move and his feet are just on the other side of the ring, Ricochet is splashing Morrison through a ladder and gets a win. Sorry, Benjamin. For a lot of people that tune in here, that's the visual that I come up with. It's just lighthearted humor. Trust me when I tell you, over the years, Joey has had his share of cracking jokes at yours truly. It's not meant to be nasty. If I saw him, I would give him a handshake and a hug. I hope he's doing well. It's just lighthearted jokes. I've gotten my share. So unless you've gone on their shows and said the same thing, I'm sorry if, you can't take a little humor. So Ricochet gets the win. Riddle gets involved. We haven't seen much of Randy Orton. We'll see where that goes. Rhea Ripley over Natty. I understand where Natty was going with this, but there ain't no chance that Natty is going to be a tag team champion and a Raw Women's Champion and a SmackDown Women's Champion all at the same time. We appreciate Natty, but she's not on that level. Giving the win to Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Nox to give the idea that they get a title shot down the line. Dana Brooke and Mandy are supposed to get a title shot. The Riot Squad, before Ruby was let go, they kind of got title shots. Everybody gets a title shot, but nobody feels like front runners. They even did a backstage segment today again where, for some reason, Dana and Mandy are laughing at Natty and Tamina like, oh, your odds of winning is slim against Rhea are slim to none. It was pretty funny when Tamina pushed Dana Brooke. She kind of looked like she wasn't expecting it. If you look at Dana Brooke's face up close, it was pretty funny. And I like Natty. I mean, she obviously is very, very valuable for the women's roster. But, it's just, man, it was such a cool moment to see Tamina win that championship title. Mish and I thought it was going to happen at Mania. It didn't. They got it, I think, at WrestleMania Backlash, if I remember correctly. And they have done nothing since. Natty gets rewarded. She's in the ladder match because she's reliable. She's not going to hurt the match, but it just feels so all over the place. That's why I'm hoping with live fans returning, they tighten it up a little bit. Okay, we gotten this far. We're able to milk things as long as we could. Now we really got to start tight, especially when you're talking about the amount of money involved with ticket sales and merchandise. I mean, does anybody really stop and think about how much money is involved with them going on the road and now touring again? I mean, it's tens of millions of dollars. So, they got to deliver. They don't want to return, because first couple of weeks, fans, that live feeling. Then after a couple of weeks, if it's the same old shit, you start touring in other places. I don't know if I really want to go. Because before COVID started, WWE was not killing it in the attendance category. Alex Romero, new friend of the family, new member, La Familia. I will definitely update if I didn't do it already. Shout out to you, my friend. Shout out to Nero Faye again. Very, very cool message. Check this out, everyone. For everyone out there who enjoys a little bit of real talk. Thanks to my show, a Syrian who is Muhammad and an Israeli became friends. That is legit. That's not characters, storylines. These are two people that are tuning in right now that are in the Middle East enjoying the show. Can't get any better than that. Seriously. I'm not kidding. I'm not even trying to this is what it's all about. This is what I love. I'm not kidding. So much love to both of you and much love to everyone out there. Seriously. So that puts a smile on my face. It really does. Much love. So Rhea Ripley and Natty, they actually put on a decent match. Charlotte gets involved a little bit. And yes, I got a kick out of it. And I'm sorry if, that kind of rubbed people the wrong way. But this was the time where yours truly suddenly popped up center screen with Rhea Ripley. That was the only part the whole night. That's why I think this was filmed at a different time. I don't think this was all filmed at the same night that they filmed last week. I think they filmed this later on because out of nowhere, they did a double take. We had 2 deli mans at one point. The announcer's desk and hard camera in the center. That was pretty funny. Trust me. Do you not ever notice how the haters all disappear? When Deli Man is in Thunderdome, they're home playing with their chrome domes. You know, if I just thought of something that rhymes. So no, but they all disappear. They all disappear. And I don't blame them, honestly, because I know that there's a few people out there that will rub it in like, oh, you know, blah, 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 blah. I'm just having fun. That's the bottom line. It's all about having fun, man. Salami Man was on TV today. It was pretty cool. So Rhea Ripley beats Natty. After the match, Charlotte gets a little bit of an attack in on Rhea Ripley to try to intensify their match for Sunday. That's really trying to play off that Rhea Ripley is beating Charlotte at her own game. That's the storyline. The storyline is that Rhea Ripley is trying to beat Charlotte at her own game. By Friday, I'll give you my predictions. I think they have to do some serious damage control with Rhea Ripley. It's going to be interesting how the crowd reacts Sunday. Trust me, you will hear a lot of fans going, woo! But Rhea Ripley, she's going to have to play up to those fans. There's no way Rhea Ripley remains pretty much an even playing a heel on an even playing field with Charlotte. Can't. They got to go full blown and bring it back to babyface. Because this, whatever they were trying to do, it didn't work. It didn't work. And especially when you look at all the other baby faces, with the exception of Asuka, you know, a lot of them feel all the way down here. So you need someone to be on that level. They need to stop whatever they were doing with Rhea Ripley the last 4 months, just like with Alexa Bliss. Whatever they were doing. Alexa Bliss at WrestleMania with the goo, the black liquid all over herself. You know, after that, and how horrible. See, people need to remember this. The WrestleMania fans, you probably could thank more than anybody for the direction change of Alexa Bliss. Because WrestleMania was the first return of live fans, and they got to experience that horrendous shit with, you know, The Fiend versus Randy Orton. And, you know, with Alexa Bliss doing what she was doing in the box. And that went over horrendously, and then it carried over to social media, and everybody ripped that shit apart as well. And, you know, you couldn't change it overnight. And then when Bray Wyatt disappeared, it made it worse. And then they like, okay, now we got to start figuring this shit out because we're returning to live fans. And that set the ball rolling. I know we got to take calls. We're running late here. It's already 1 a.m. over here. I know we're having great convo, and nobody's left tonight. I know some people have stopped by periodically, but for the most part, nobody's left, so I thank you. So I'm going to take calls in 5 minutes. I will put the numbers up so you can get ready. In fact, you know what? I'll put the numbers up now. Don't call yet. I have it on Do Not Disturb. I just want to finish up talking a little bit about Raw tonight. So let's... All right. Oh, wait, whoa. All right. Don't call yet. It's on Do Not Disturb. Sorry for being a little rude. I'm having this Xavier ginger ale stuff tonight. I have another one on standby. Very thirsty, so. Very nice of you, Stan. No one leaves until they say goodnight. Natalya, I don't know what they're going to do with the women's tag titles, but they got to do more. I'm very disappointed with Tamina's run. I mean, I know it's very special, and we wanted to see it happen, but under these circumstances, it's been pretty lame. I think hopefully now with live fans returning, they could start kicking this up a notch a little bit. Who knows? Maybe we'll get like a fatal four-way. or gauntlet tag match. And then we closed out Thunderdome with Bobby Lashley in the ring. First, he left the building. Some of the women's acting in this was kind of crappy because early in the night, after Lashley lost, he left the arena. MVP, he says, don't worry about it. Later on, they announced they're going to do a VIP lounge, and Lashley is going to be on it. And some people thought that Brock Lesnar was going to make an appearance. When you're only a week away of live fans, if you're going to have Brock Lesnar return, you do not do it a week before with Thunderdome. Sorry, you just don't do that. That would be the ultimate stupidity on WWE's part. But Lashley returns, and it was funny because when Lashley comes out, you know, they cue his music. He finally comes out. First, he doesn't come out, and his tie is undone. He looks a little bit disheveled. Nothing big. But all the women in the ring are like all concerned, like, oh, Bobby, hey, Bobby. You know, like, turn that frown upside down. Like, he just looked like he was tired. Like, they were just a little overacting. But Lashley tells the women, please leave the ring. This is between me and MVP. Just one-on-one. They leave. MVP is looking confused. Bobby Lashley says that Kofi was right. He thought that Kofi originally was just trying to get into Lashley's head, but Lashley has lost focus, and he's tired of this bullshit. And Bobby Lashley said from now on, he is going to focus on basically just beating the living shit out of people, doing what he does in this ring. And that's why a very focused Bobby Lashley, number one, does not lose the title Sunday, but number two, is going to go on a vicious level that Big E fighting for his brother is the only way to go. I've been saying this for a few weeks. I'm more convinced now than ever. Bobby Lashley is good. Now, again, I don't think MVP and Lashley split up. I think that would be absolutely moronic because you're not going to have, especially if Big E does get involved in this storyline, you're not going to have Big E promo exchanging Bobby Lashley all the time. You need MVP on this mic in some capacity. So I do not think that they split. But Lashley basically dismantles the VIP lounge, throws everything outside the ring, did not attack MVP in any way, shape, or form. To me, this is Bobby Lashley telling MVP, no more of this champagne and women. Now with Hurt Business, let's go down to business. Yeah, I don't think he was getting rid of MVP tonight. Believe me, if he was, WWE would have made it very, very blunt and specific. You know, I've had it. We're done. You know what I mean? They didn't do that. If you remember early on, when the Hurt Business first was splitting up, Lashley got in MVP's face also. Remember, MVP went on commentary and said, like, you know, this is a Lashley I've never seen before. Yeah, we've seen it before now. So, not a bad episode of Raw. You know, some comedy segments with Nikki A.S.H, and Riddle. Sorry. Open up my second beverage in the night. I don't know. You think they would do mixed tag matches with Nikki and Riddle? I think that's a possibility. I think that would be interesting depending on who they would go up against. Oh, yeah, no, Eddie, I agree with you. Lashley gave that vibe. The MVP's got to take this shit seriously as well. In fact, I got news for you. Reform the Hurt Business. Reform the Hurt Business. You're going back to live fans. There's an old saying, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Bring back the Hurt Business. Shelton suddenly feels like stuck in mud. Cedric, you know, he cut a couple of very loud promos, lost his voice a little bit. Now what? Bring back the Hurt Business. Bring back the Hurt Business. I think that's needed. We'll see. We will see. I hope Keith Lee comes back also. I think Keith Lee is absolutely needed. Especially with the rumors that the draft may not happen now until October, beginning of October. Something's got to happen sooner. Let's see what happens. So with that said, I think we can open up the phone lines. We've talked about Paul, obviously, if anybody wants to call in and say a couple of extra words. I have shoved Deli Man on Thunderdome down everybody's asses a little bit too much tonight. We talked about Drew McIntyre and this cool new toy. I know you can't see his head, but yes, that is available on Walmart right now. We talked about Oos tonight. We talked about Brock and Thunderdome. And we talked about a lot of topics tonight. So I'm actually closing out little boxes so I can make this a little more organized. So here's the deal, everybody. It is 1:16 right now. The show is exactly 2 hours and 10 minutes in. So I know it may not sound like a long time, but we'll take calls for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Like I said, all I ask is if you have something specific that you want to ask. I know sometimes in the past we've had some combos that went 5-10 minutes long. Let's keep them a little bit shorter tonight so we could get as many people to call in as well. So with that said, Do Not Disturb is off. And if you'd like to call in and you cannot see it on the screen right now, 225-366-8669 or 833-366-8686. Good evening. You're on. Who is this?
Good evening, DD. This is Mohammed from
Hey, Mohammed.
the chat.
Hey, what's going on? Happy birthday again, my friend.
Yeah, thanks, man. I was enjoying the stream. Yeah, it's about 7 a.m. here in Sweden.
Oh, okay. Very nice, very nice.
So, yeah. How are you doing, man?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Wow, 7 a.m. So have you gotten any sleep or you're going to go to sleep after this?
I was actually working, programming with the school, some project.
Oh, okay.
And I was like putting you on the background, enjoying the stream. And I was curious on 3 questions. I hope that everyone is enjoying the questions. I don't bore you all. So the first question is, do you think WWE will use the pipe-in sound technology and manipulate the genuine fan noise since they got the taste of that power with live fans?
Well, to answer your first question, I think they're going to try it with chants. I think you may hear them try to force a "this is awesome" chant, or you may hear them force like a "you suck" chant or something to try to start it. They tried doing that in NXT a couple of weeks ago, and it failed miserably because NXT is a little different because you only have, at that time, probably 50 fans, 100 fans. If you do it with thousands of fans, you're really going to have a hard time hearing it. They may do it subtly to maybe if somebody out there hears a "this is awesome" chant picking up, that they might think it's other fans and they may start doing it. I personally think they really will not for the most part, but if they can get the fans to start something, they may try it. But if they try and fail as miserable as they did with NXT, I think they'll just pack that up and that's it.
All right, I get that. Now, to my second question, I had a discussion with my friends about the Roman Reigns character and comparing it to Kenny Omega. But my point was Roman Reigns needed the heat and the hate of the fans in the beginning in order to become the character that he is. Do you think right now Roman Reigns is better off with how he was booked since 2014 in order to become who he is right now as a character, or should Vince just made him heel since the beginning?
Well, see, the thing is, don't underestimate his leukemia. his loser, and I didn't even think about that last week. The crowd just, they really voiced the WWE, like, no, we don't like this. Now, because he battled illness and came back, you know, it humanized Roman Reigns in a lot of ways. That we didn't have that personal connection with him years early. We knew he was a family man, and we know, you know, who he was related to, but you really didn't have that personal connection. You knew he was a good guy. But once that happened and we got that personal connection and, you know, they started to do this character, it took off and fans gave it a shot. We had no choice, obviously, but the fans now, we got to see how the fans react to it because, you know, the fans, a lot of people love Edge, but not every fan out there is an Edge fan for the simple reason that Edge, you know, for a lot of fans was before their time. Yes, they saw him in the Royal Rumble. Yes, they saw him at Mania with Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns. But Edge now, you know, it's still a guy that a lot of fans may not be completely connected with. So you see that more in NXT. Adam Cole gets cheered heavily. Tommaso Ciampa gets, yeah, he's a babyface, but a lot of the veteran people in NXT get cheered, even if they're heels. Roman Reigns right now, because he's so good at what he does, I think fans find that badass, and I think fans will cheer Roman Reigns, but I also believe that to go along with the program, you will see fans yelling at the top of their lungs, you suck, you suck. So I think Roman Reigns now and what they've done in the last year has helped Roman Reigns as far as his heel character 1,000 times more than when he was in the Shield. When he was in the Shield, he wasn't the focal point. You had 3 guys, and each person had a different personality amongst themselves, and Roman Reigns was one of the more quiet ones of the trio. Now, his mic and his promos and his attitude and his storytelling and the way he presents, it's on a level that he didn't have in 14. So I think Roman Reigns now, I take this Roman Reigns, and I'll tell you one last thing very quickly about this. Roman Reigns, I did a poll in the community section for everybody, and I said, if I gave you a choice, Roman Reigns holds the title until WrestleMania till next year's WrestleMania, or you want someone else as a champion now. I think it was like 70% of fans out there said that they would have no problem if Roman Reigns was champion until WrestleMania of next year. You get that kind of results, you know he's doing a good job.
Yeah, and I agree with that sentiment 100%. Now, to my third and final question to you and everyone in the chat, I was very confused, and I appreciate you talking about other topics, politics, and everything. I was there with the New Year's Eve episode, so yeah, it was fun. Now, my question is about WWE and the Saudi Arabia deal. Whether you want to respond to it or not, it's up to you, but I'm going to throw the question and kind of read through my notes. So, I know you protested the show, and I know a lot of people have problems with the show and how the women portrayed, how the propaganda and everything. But in my opinion, as a Middle Eastern, I lived in Egypt for like a huge part of my life, and we had no WWE shows. And what we had on the television was cut down version, and we had no women, and basically, to be honest, it's not our cup of tea. I know a lot of Middle Eastern people, it's not their cup of tea, and we just like to see basically stimulating fighting with men. So it's not a big deal if we don't see the women wrestle. That's why it was confusing to me when WWE started coming more to the Indian market and the Middle Eastern market. I would be so happy if I was 10 years old and I knew WWE is coming to my country as a Middle Eastern. I'm like, hell yeah, let's go. So at that point, I'm like, sure, let the fans have it. Let the fans be happy because they don't see or have any live events from that caliber. And when it comes to rules and customs, I believe if right now I live in Sweden, as I live in Sweden, I have to follow the Swedish rules and the Swedish customs. So why shouldn't WWE do the same when it comes to women on their shows, when it comes to how they present their shows? Do you have any point on it?
Yeah, I'll tell you my honest opinion on this. Even though Ronda Rousey is considered possibly the greatest MMA fighter, women's fighter of all time, one thing, I don't watch MMA. I'm not a fan of MMA. I mean, I respect a lot of their, the particular fighters, and I admire some of them that ventured into wrestling. But here's my point. I have said this for a couple of decades now. I cannot watch two women MMA beating each other up MMA. I just can't. I can enjoy, some women's wrestling. I can enjoy, some of the TNA stuff over the years, some of the more adult stuff. But when it comes to MMA, I can't watch two women fight. I just don't like it. I don't like it. I respect that they want to do it, and I respect anybody who is a fan of it, but I don't like watching it. So I take that mindset, and now you're talking about a country and, a religion that does not view women fighting as well. So I can relate to it only in the sense as far as MMA goes, but as far as a culture, I have to respect that. It might be totally different than my culture where I come from, but I have to respect that culture as far as in overseas, in the Middle East, or in Saudi Arabia. Why WWE does not I don't want to say respect that, but why WWE insists on doing this also? Because WWE, it's like what Mish said once, that WWE wants to change the world, or they think that they can change. Because this is the thing. Their culture is that women, this is simulated violence. Simulated. It's just like watching a movie, but in this case, you're actually seeing it live inside a wrestling ring. The movie is taking place in the ring. So because it's simulated violence and not actual violence, if you could watch a woman in Street Fighter, then you should be able to see them in the ring also. And they look at it more on equal playing field, that, they feel that, okay, since women's rights and men's rights are the same, then they should also be able to fight in the same ring. And the government has authorized that. I will say this. I don't have an issue with women wrestling overseas in Saudi Arabia, but I also acknowledge that because of the culture and the religion and the way it's presented, and, women fighting, period, is not something that anybody, wants, is brought up to see. Even for an entertainment value, there's a lot of people that are turned off by it. I don't think there's anything that can be said or done that's going to change WWE from doing that. I certainly would hope that, there was one woman who, I think somebody threw a water bottle at or something. I mean, that's expressing frustration, but I don't think that changes. I think, the fact that WWE's going to Saudi Arabia is a wonderful thing. And I've always said that those fans live in person, they never get to see it. We're spoiled that we see wrestling in our neck of the woods, and we could go to WWE a couple of times a year, and you've never had it up close and personal. It's just because the culture is different, you're going to have to if you want to see it, you're going to have to deal with some clashes there. It's just like if I was a fan of a sport or something from a different country and they had certain cultures and certain things about their sport that I don't agree with or don't believe in, then I have to understand that, okay, if I'm going to enjoy their product and coming to my country, then I also have to respect or just accept the fact that, okay, I don't believe in this and I don't accept this and I don't agree with this, but because this is their product and their culture, I have to accept it or respect it.
I agree 100%, but I just want to clarify my point. I'm not against women fighting.
No, I agree. I totally understand what you're saying. Yeah.
The people making fun of the clothes or of the gear they had to wear, like, this is the customs of the government that they ruled. I grew up watching women play judo, wrestle, amateur wrestling, play karate and soccer with us. So it's not that major of an issue, but the customs and the clothes and the suits.
Can I tell you one last? Can I tell you, not to interrupt you? Can I tell you one thing also? Sure. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow, and I'll play it Thursday for a minute or two. My fiance lives a little more than 5 minutes from my house. I drive her home. I have a dash cam, so I know it records it. I drive her home. We go through a neighborhood where it's 98% Indian. And you go through the neighborhood, and every woman is head to toe in their, their customary, their outfit, their clothing. And you drive through the neighborhood, don't think anything different. You just respect that this is the culture, this is how they dress, this is how it is. You just respect someone else's culture. So I see that every day when I drive her home. I go through the neighborhood and I see it. And like I said, I'll take from my dash cam the footage from today. You'll see it. And another thing is every single person in the neighborhood wears a mask. Every single person wears a mask. That I totally respect it. If I go to the store over there, I buy gas, I buy something to drink, I buy some food. Nobody thinks anything. I don't feel uncomfortable. I just respect, this is the culture, this is their religion, this is how they dress, and that's it. I don't think anybody should be making fun of anybody. I'm not saying you, but I'm saying anybody out there. They should not. WWE is trying to extend that gesture that, okay, we respect, this is how they dress. We're going to have our women dress the same way.
Sure. So does WWE deserve the amount of hate that the company gets just for dealing with Saudi Arabia? For me, I think it's noble that they bring happiness to the kids and the fans down there with and not defying the rules. It's respectful on my part, but I'm curious. What do you think about that? And thank you for the show. Thank you for the entertainment value you brought to me and for everyone in the chat. And yeah, I'll get someone else to hop on.
Much love, my friend. Take care. That's beautiful because this is someone thousands of miles away, and he's totally different culture. And I agree 1,000,000% of one thing. I agree with everything he said, but one thing that everyone out there, you go watch any of my Saudi Arabia WWE event recaps. You will always hear me or see me say the same thing. Look at those fans in that building. Those events, I know it sounds messed up, but those events are not for us. Therefore, the fans in Saudi Arabia, they never get that opportunity, never had that opportunity until very recently to have WWE live and in person. That's it. So, yes, they have cups, battle royals, certain things. Mansoor won a couple of matches. oh my God, look at that. You know, and I joke a little bit about the Godfather thing, but the fact of the matter is, this is a show for them. Me, sometimes in WWE used to come to my area, you know, they would be heavily more New Yorkers. Dreamer would always have a little bit of an extra match or some this and that. Sometimes you have a New Yorker, Brooklyn Brawler would get a more high-profile match. Everybody else around the country, we've been getting this for. I know that's a far stretch, but still, you know, I love what he said. Very respectful, and I don't think anyone out there would disagree with that. Good evening, you're on. Who's this? Hello?
Hey, DT.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, man, it's Scott from Jersey. How are you, brother?
Hey, Scott. Good. What's on your mind?
I don't... Yeah, just to piggyback... excuse me, just to piggyback off what the other caller was talking about. I don't want to be negative or anything, but, WWE is also getting millions and millions of dollars from the Saudi government to be kind of told, this is the way it's got to be. You know what I mean? WWE, with the money they're going to get from that government, is not going to go in there and, like you said, not going to go in there and disrespect anybody's culture. But we have to call it a spade. Without that money coming in, I don't think WWE would be so... What's the word I'm looking for? They wouldn't be so,
They were.
You know what I mean? Like, they wouldn't be so quick to say, okay, we're going to do X, Y, and Z when we really should be doing A, B, and C.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it does come down to the amount of money they're making also from that contract, and it's a ridiculous amount of money as well. So I understand what the gentleman was saying about the women and everything else, but if the Saudi government says it's going to be a certain way, it's going to be a certain way because of the amount of money they're making.
Sure, I agree. And, look at the recent Dark Side of the Ring with WCW in Korea. You think they went to Korea to make a peace gesture? Or they went to Korea just for, because they wanted to perform in front of 100,000 people? No, they wanted to go there because there was money to be made. It was a big deal. And the thing is that if everybody would have just went along and respected everything about North Korea, which, North Korea obviously is, you can't compare it to Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia has got a lot more freedom. But the thing is that you go to a country like North Korea and you don't follow every little thing you have, that's why you have Dark Side of the Ring episodes like they did. You got Saudi Arabia. They have certain things about their religion and culture. And look, if it wasn't about money with WWE would have toured Saudi Arabia a long time ago, or they would have done it more often. So the fact that Saudi Arabia paid that kind of money to WWE, if they tell WWE, look, we want everybody to wear whatever, WWE's pretty much got to go with it. Look at Undertaker and some of the other wrestlers. When they go to Saudi Arabia, they dress differently. They dress a lot more professional, and that's the way it is. I mean, WWE, obviously it's about money, but as far as that caller, Muhammad, for him, it's about the fans. Like the fans there never get WWE, and when they got it on TV, it would be a watered down, trimmed down version. They would never be able to experience what they got live in person. So yes, WWE, if Saudi Arabia government tells them to jump, WWE will say how high. But as far as the fans there, they could care less as far as what the government and WWE's relationship is, as long as they get to see a product and enjoy it up close and personal.
I do agree with you. I think we're so spoiled for having these live events. And to be honest with you, a live event is so much more fun than going to a Raw or a live Raw or a live SmackDown, because I feel like the wrestlers have so much more freedom at a live event to do as they please versus, being told what to say on a Raw or SmackDown. And a live event, I know you said it before as well, it's so much more fun for a live event than it is for a Raw or SmackDown. To do those commercials and, all that stuff. And, meanwhile, the live event is, about a 2.5 hour, almost nonstop show with an intermission in between.
Sure. Absolutely. I love it. It's...
I just wanted to kind of piggyback off that. I'll let you take another call. Thanks,
all right.
brother.
Take care, my friend. Have a good night.
Thanks, man. You too. Thanks.
Yeah, for me, going to indie shows, so much more creative freedom. You could get a little more personal with fans. You could test things out, try a few things, maybe say a few words you wouldn't normally be able to say, and there's no pressure. No pressure. Good evening. You are on. Who's this?
Hey, DT, it's Crazy Cruiserweight.
Hey,
How
Crazy.
You doing?
What's up? What's going on?
Nothing much. Nothing much. I did want to call in last week, Monday, but you said you didn't have the phone set up, actually.
My battery was on, I think, like 6%. And
yeah.
I probably could have taken 1 or 2 calls, but I thought it would have been like so messed up to have 100 people try to call in and then only 1 or 2 get through. And I'm like, all right, everybody, my phone's dead. That's it. So I figured, not do any. So, but the phone is charged right now. It's charged.
All right, that's good. Well, I did want to talk about the list.
Yeah.
The tag team list. Okay, so I don't know if you know. Do you want to know how they rank the list for this?
What do you mean?
So, okay, so like the way that they rank the tag teams, right? It was they looked at the title reigns, the longevity, and the cultural impact that the tag teams had.
Okay. But,
yeah,
I'm looking at the list right now and, I could go down this list and first of all, why are the Bushwhackers even on this list? Why is DIY on this list? Why are the Mega Powers on this list? The Mega Powers were a storyline, not a tag team, if you really think about it.
True.
The Rock and Sock connection, okay, I could accept that. I don't know. It's just like I said, I just feel, in my opinion, I don't have any problem with the New Day being in the top 5, but I just feel that when you have 3 people on that team instead of 2, you put your 2 best out there every single time, or the 2 to have a momentum. If one person is in, see, that's the thing. The Hardys, if Jeff Hardy was injured, or Matt Hardy was injured, or there was an issue with substance with the Dynamite Kid, or Davey Boy Smith being forced to team up with Coco Beware, and Edge and Christian, they kind of had to split up and go singles. The Dudleys, I'm just saying, like, they didn't equate Spike in this. You look at the Brainbusters aren't even on this list. My point is that you got 2 guys and one person is injured, or one person has a little bit of a substance issue, or one person is just not pulling their share of the weight. That other member suffers because of it. With the New Day, all right, one member, all right, no problem. Yeah, we could put this other guy in instead. That's the only reason why I don't think New Day should be number 1. I don't have any issue with it. I just feel that if everybody else is 2 people and New Day is 3, that's an unfair advantage. Because
No, finish up.
No, that's really it. I mean, I just you look at some of these tag teams. If you even look at I'm just trying to think.
Well, the Undisputed Era has 4 members and had 4 members in it, and they got into the top 20.
Yeah, but we're talking about top 5, top 10. I mean, it is what it is. But I just feel, look, if you're going to put somebody in the top 10, fine. But you're going to put somebody number 1 and they had an extra member, and everybody else in the top 10, for the most part, only had 2 members. I think that's a little bit unfair.
Right. No, I hear you. I mean, I'm guessing with DIY, I'm guessing it's what they did in what they've been doing in NXT, really. So I'm guessing that's the cultural impact part that they're looking at, really, because with DIY, I know they were a tag team on and off at points. They really debuted in 2015 to 2017. And that's the thing. Now, they did win the NXT tag titles, but are they just counting that they're individual stuff as well, just to put them on there. But I hear you. I was a little surprised that, like Gallows and Anderson didn't make the list, or the Revival didn't make the list. But I think we all know why they're not on that list for reasons. For the obvious reason.
AEW.
Was there any other tag team you thought should have made the list that they didn't even put on there?
Really just the Brain Busters. I mean, look.
Yeah.
I understand Gallows and Anderson, all right, they weren't there that long. FTR,
Right.
Revival, I thought we're in there long enough that they definitely should have been on there too. But the Brain Busters, there's no excuse. The Brain Busters, they weren't around that long either as a tag team, but I could name 10 tag teams on this list that were together less than the Brain Busters were. And the Brain Busters don't even crack the top 50. That's being petty, in my opinion. Brain Busters was my favorite WWF tag team growing up, along with Demolition, Heart Foundation, and others. Brain Busters was on that list with a lot of people. And the fact that not even the top 50, that's just WWE being really, really petty. Like, all right. And here's the worst thing about it. They released Arn Anderson. Tully Blanchard hasn't worked there for years. It's not like they said, fuck you, WWE, we quit. Tully Blanchard had a drug problem in the early 90s. Gallows and Anderson were released from WWE. It's not like these people fucked WWE over. So like, all right, we'll fuck them back. You release a team and then you don't put them on the list because they're now your competitor. I think that's petty.
Right.
That's how I feel about it.
No. I hear you. You know who I would have put as like an honorable mention, even if they cracked the top 50. But though they were, you may be surprised with this, but I was surprised. I didn't see Tyson Kidd and Cesaro on here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And they were, sure, they won the tag team belts one time, but they were getting over with their act. Even though they had Natty as their valet, but still they were just doing fine with that.
I'm trying to see if Test and Albert are on this list. I don't see them anywhere.
No, they're not on that list.
They're not on this list.
No.
I mean, when you really think about it, there are some names that are not on this list. But, like I said, the Brain Busters, to me, was the one that I'm like, all right, I get it now. Like, come on. You serious? Like, you're not going to – I think that just – I don't know.
Christian, even though Christian's in AEW, but now I think if you said that they put Edge and Christian in like the outside of the top 10 and the top 5, would you say there's more of an AEW pettiness to that as well, if that did happen?
But they didn't, because you can't take away the magnitude of everything they did. They couldn't make it that obvious. So they did it on a couple of tag teams that really didn't mount to much in WWE. And, that's really it. But they didn't do that, so we can't really criticize them for that.
Yeah. Yeah, because I know Owen and Yoko didn't make the list. I was like, okay. But
yeah.
But
it is what it is.
Well, yeah. But because I remember how you felt when they did their they had the women's wrestlers, like the wrestlers list for the women, and Lita made like I think number 9.
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand the falling out, or I should say the lack of relationship between Lita and WWE right now. That's why Lita was so far lower than Trish.
Yeah, but I would have honestly put Trish ahead of Lita. That's just me. That's just me, in my opinion.
Yeah, I could see it. I wouldn't disagree with that.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to know what other list are they going to come out with next.
Who knows?
Best United States champions, the 50 greatest United States champions.
Possibly. I mean, the list is a conversation piece, and we're doing exactly what they wanted us to do. So they're going to come out with another list.
Yeah, but I'm just saying this now. If they are doing a U.S. title list, they really need to include some of those NWA wrestlers. They need to include a good amount of NWA wrestlers in there.
they don't put Tully in there, you know.
Yeah.
They may not put that list out right now, so.
Yeah. They may not. But much love and everything. Happy AS76 got her present. By the way, I'm still waiting on my shirts, but
yours is done. I sent you that confirmation number, so you should get it next day or two.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they're done.
I'm not in Brooklyn right now. I'm staying in a hotel in Manhattan for a few days, a little vacation for myself.
Oh, nice. Enjoy. No, it'll definitely a couple of days you'll get it. I'm positive.
Yeah. Because the job I told you about the job I'm doing. So the job is Let me tell you, man, $25 an hour isn't bad, man.
Not at all. Not at all. My fiance just landed a job. She's making 22 and she's sitting home, remote from her house. I'm like, you don't have to travel. You don't have to buy like food in restaurants or delivery to the office. No trains, no buses. Take it. Yeah. So she just started today, actually.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I'm on my 3-day break. I'm off Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays.
Enjoy it.
I do 12 hours. Everybody's a 12-hour shift. I'm taking off Friday because I had to work Independence Day, actually.
Okay.
So, I get time and a half with that. So, yeah, man.
Enjoy, my friend. I'll talk to you soon for sure.
I will, man.
Make sure you check out the beginning of the show later.
Oh, I did already. Already.
Cool. All right.
Okay. Tomorrow's the Breakfast Soup Q&A, or are we just still doing the tournament?
No, we're doing Q&A. I'm going to be emailing everybody in the morning.
All right, no problem.
You can email me now, like tonight if it's on your mind. You could do that. No worries.
Okay, no problem.
All right. Take care, my friend.
Chat, DT, you have a good night. Stay safe out there.
All right, take care. I just realized something. I don't know if anybody corrected me earlier. Props if you did. I'll watch the chat tomorrow in the replay. I said King of Hearts earlier. I just noticed it's King of Spades. King of Spades. I don't know if there's any ulterior meaning for it, but I didn't realize this shirt was King of Spades. I said King of Hearts. As I'm talking to Cruiserweight, I'm looking at the screen. I'm like, wait a minute. Something doesn't look right here. I realized the shirt, I said King of Hearts earlier. It's King of Spades. So anyway, here's the deal, everyone. We're at 2 hours and 47 minutes. Let's do 11 more minutes. Let's do 11 more minutes of calls. We'll do an exact 3-hour show since we didn't do one Thursday or Friday. So if you'd like to call in, by all means do so. Good evening. You are on. Who is this? Oh, we lost him. California. Here we go. California, you're on. Who's this? Oh, we lost this person. I hope I'm not getting technical difficulties all of a sudden. We were supposed to get rainstorms tonight. Well, if you want to call in, 225 Don Tony, which is 225-366-8669, or you can call 833 Don VMVM, which is 833-366-8686. So I will reset the Do Not Disturb. It is on now. It's off. So let's see who calls in. So much love, everyone. I thank you all for tuning in. Much love. Thank you, everyone who smash that like button tonight. Pretty cool. Good evening. You're on. Who's this?
Hey, Don Tony. It's Steven.
Hey, Steven.
I don't know if you remember me. How's it going, Don Tony?
All right. Not bad. What's going on?
I hope you had a good vacation, by the way.
It was okay. Not long enough, but better than nothing. I had fun. Thank you for asking.
So the questions. Do you want me to ask you about tonight, about Raw,
different? That's fine. Sure.
Or can I ask you about anything else? Or
go ahead. Shoot. Just keep it, as brief as you can, so we could, I'll get through them all. So yeah, ask away.
Oh, okay. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on AEW. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure. What about AEW?
Did you see it was the last show they did at Daily's Place where I don't think it was the last one, but it was with when the Kenny Omega and Jungle Boy fight ended, and Eddie Kingston came out and he was saying, "Did you see that video?"
Yes, I did.
I just wanted to get your thoughts. Like, what did you think of it? Like, what did you think he was trying to like make out of it? Like, in other different wrestling companies.
This is my opinion.
Okay.
My opinion is Bully Ray got very, very vocal about it. Bully Ray was basically telling Eddie Kingston, you know, talk about what makes AEW good, and you don't have to put the competitor down. I think Bully Ray was sending a message to Tony Khan, because honestly, not that the Dudleys were putting over ECW back in the day, even though they were, but you know, Paulie would cut promos about ECW and better than Raw or WCW. Shane Douglas would do it. Taz would do it. Being proud of your company. I don't think Eddie Kingston was trying to criticize any wrestlers in WWE. I think what he was trying to do is just tell the fans, look, we look out for you and we try to give you the best show we can, and the other promotion out there doesn't care about you as much. I think it's wrong for Eddie Kingston to say that, because, you know, WWE is a publicly traded company, $1 billion company. It's an entertainment company, and they have to please a lot more people than just fans. But I really did not have any issue with Eddie Kingston saying that at all. He's just, look, when Triple H said that you want the best women wrestlers in the world, you check out NXT, and everybody got triggered by that, Eddie Kingston did the very same thing. I don't have a problem with any of it. I don't think Eddie Kingston said anything that was really that bad. But, you know, I do understand why Bully Ray said it also. Tell everybody why your product is good, not why another product is bad. I think he was sending a message more to Tony Khan than Eddie Kingston. Because this is the thing. This is the thing that I said last week or the week before that no one else said. You know, if everybody got angry at Eddie Kingston for saying that, they were very silent at the fact that AEW put it on their YouTube channel and kept pushing it on social media for everybody to watch it. So if AEW had any reservation about what Eddie Kingston said, they wouldn't have put it professionally produced on their social media channel. So AEW, I think, deserved the criticism, not Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, I mean, I was seeing on Twitter, like, they're saying, oh, look, he's calling out WWE, like, look. And, you know, it's just like everybody works hard every day in wrestling. So, you know, it doesn't have to be like, you know, like who does the better job in, you know, every day.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
What else is going on?
Oh, my second question was like, what do you think of the Money in the Bank matches so far? Like, are you like pleased with them, or like what's on your mind with them?
I mean, so far, you know, I'm not doing predictions till Friday. I want to see who the last entrant is for the women's side. I'm fine with the matches so far. I think they've done a good job with Roman Reigns and Edge. Bobby Lashley versus Kofi Kingston. Although I wasn't too into Kofi taking on Bobby Lashley because it just felt forced. But if this is going to lead to Big E taking on Lashley, I like where it's going. The tag team situation is kind of blah right now. So the tag team situation I'm not thrilled about. The women's side of it, I don't have a problem with the women's match, because I think this is going to lead to a big storyline coming. And on the men's side, you know, like I said, I feel like Biggie. So I think this Money in the Bank pay-per-view is really going to further some very important storylines. So I'm actually looking forward to this one.
You know, I'm hoping a surprise this Sunday.
Oh, yeah, I think we'll have a surprise Friday, and I think it'll lead into Sunday also. WWE is, look, if you notice tonight when Raw went off the air, they didn't even do a tribute to Thunderdome like AEW did the Daily's Place. They didn't do any storyline where Thunderdome was trashed. They didn't thank the fans for doing Thunderdome. They just went off the air like business as usual. So WWE is not going to have live fans come back and then not give them bang, 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 bang. They're going to give some big surprises. You watch.
Yeah. I really want Big E to win this Sunday, but who knows? You know, Don Tony.
Right now, I think he is. He's been my pick for about 6 weeks now, and I'm still sticking with it. I don't see anything that's going to change my mind, to be honest with you. It's the only way you could get him on Raw without the draft.
Yeah. Well, it was nice talking to you, Don.
Yeah. Have a good night, my friend. We'll talk again for sure.
Yeah. Thanks.
Take care, my friend. All right, we're gonna take one more, then we're gonna call it. But don't forget, Thursday, whole night, we'll be taking calls all throughout the night. Thursday, really, I have nothing planned other than Q&A and some other stuff. I have some ideas, but they'll probably all get put together by that time. I have 2 days still to work it out. So we'll take one more call, 225-366-8669, or if you need a toll-free number, 833-366-8686. I keep looking down because that's where the phone is. So once I get my software configured in the computer, then I'll have it just pop up on the screen. Good evening, you're on. Who's this?
Hi, this is Mark Anderson.
Hey, Mark. What's going on?
Hey. So, with the Thunderdome ending, today, Monday night, I know, you wanted people to call to, have an opinion on it.
Sure, absolutely.
And my opinion is this. I can never get into those things. You were lucky. You were very lucky with the Thunderdome, with the Deli Man thing. But I can never get on the screen. I got into it, but I can never get on the screen. I don't know what it was. Why I would never see it on the screen.
You want to know something? Honestly, I had a little bit of an unfair advantage. I'll tell you a couple of reasons why. Because I do these video shows, a lot of people recognize my face, and I'm going to be straight up with you. There was one time I did Thunderdome in my hotel room. It was, I think, July of last year, I think it was. And I didn't see myself at all. And sure enough, few people had sent me screenshots like, no, I saw you over here, So the reason why I'm saying that is, it's very, very difficult when you have all those screens up there and you're watching a match and, you're trying to focus to see. And there was a couple of times where I didn't spot myself at all and other people did. So you could have very well been on there, and maybe if you watch it back, you might actually spot it. I had joked with the Deli Man thing. I had joked about a month ago that I was going to do Deli Man. And, someone that I know that wrestles in WWE sent me a DM. He's like, dude, you got to do it. So I did it, and it showed up at the very end, but I made the mistake, and I think I mentioned this before. It was a SmackDown, and I made the mistake to go on social media, and I hashtagged Thunderdome, and I know WWE looks at social media throughout the night, and I was plugging my show that I was going to do right after SmackDown, and everything in the preview was AEW. Literally 5 minutes after I posted that tweet, I got booted off of Thunderdome. And,
oh, my goodness.
And I said, all right, was it Deli Man or was it the tweet? So when I did Deli Man the second time, I made sure not to post anything like that. And sure enough, it showed up in a couple of spots. And then the third time was the SmackDown before when they put me on the entrance area. And then someone had said to me, last Monday, was it last Monday? No, it was the Monday before. I went on the show with Mish and I joked. I said, I'll do Thunderdome next week. I said, but, I don't have one of those red Raw shirts. I said, it'd be pretty cool if I had a red Raw shirt, then I could, maybe get the opportunity to be behind the announcer's table. And then the next day I get an email inviting me to Thunderdome. So I accepted it. And then I get an alert that UPS is delivering me something. And I was expecting something from Amazon. It was FedEx. And the next day, UPS delivers me a WWE Raw shirt. I have no idea. I have no idea who sent it, but they sent it to me. For all I know, maybe somebody tuning into the show just sent it, but they don't know my home address. So there's only a few people in WWE that know my home address. So I just said, thank you. And I posted on social media. And I said, now you got to come through and you got to put me behind the announcer's desk. So they did that. And then I realized, okay, somebody was tuning in. But then I mentioned last week that they invited me for SmackDown this past week. I couldn't do it because I was going to be in Connecticut. But then I wrote back and I said, I can't do it. And then I got an alert that, we'd like to use your footage for Monday. I said, sure, go ahead. So, look, I mean, when I posted the screenshot earlier of this, I'll pull it up really quick. But when I posted the screenshot of this, let me show you. This was 18 years ago. And for 2+ years, I don't know if you could see the screen, I had something called Tombstone Radio that I talked about before. It was an online music station I had. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year for 2 years. It played nothing but wrestling music. And back then, people were saying to me, like, how is WWE not shutting you down? I'm playing all of their theme music nonstop. And at the time, I wasn't doing a podcast. I was doing just a hotline. And I contacted WWE and I asked them, I said, I'd like to do some theme music online. Can I? And they said, as long as you stream in this quality and this and that, no problem. So sometimes when you ask, but let's also remember, WWE sent me legal letters in 2005 threatening to sue me, so.
Yeah, for the ECW thing.
Yeah, for the ECW thing. So they know who I am, and I got friends, not close friends, but I got some friends that actually work in the company. I'm not saying it's a bragging thing, but I guess sometimes, you ask for something, that's why I say to people out there, with all this fair use crap going on, sometimes if you just ask, you may actually get what you're asking for. And me, I asked and I got. So I had fun doing it. But it was an experience. I mean, again, I hope we never have to use Thunderdome again. But if it has to come back for some reason, I'll do it.
Yeah, I mean, it was like you weren't there, but it was like you weren't there, during the show, and it was free too. That was a cool thing.
Yeah.
But like being seen on the TV was like, it was like a luck thing. Even after you explained it to me, maybe I may have seen myself, and maybe I haven't. But
it was cool.
There's a dozen people there, so you never know.
It was cool when they would go to commercial breaks and they'd let us watch the whole match. A lot of people don't even know that. Like sometimes when it go to commercial, not even a split screen, they just go to commercial, and whoever it was emceeing it for the night, they would say, "All right, Thunderdome, we're gonna get." I'll tell you one thing tonight: if anybody wants to get a good laugh out of something, if anybody looks closely where I was shown at behind the announcer's table, you'll see a few times. In fact, I think the last segment, you'll actually see me up in the camera like this. I have the deli mask on, and you'll see me like this with my hand on my eyes. That was, and I know exactly what that was. That was during commercial breaks last week, and I was going on Twitter, and I was trying to see. I can't see without glasses, and deli man, I can't wear glasses. The mask is too tight. So during commercial breaks, I go on Twitter, and I go like this tonight they were airing footage during commercial breaks. There's one point where I'm sitting up and I'm adjusting my chest and I'm taking sips out of. If you look, you'll see me remove the mask. They were just streaming footage through, and I had no idea that they were recording people during commercial breaks, because they would say, all right, you could go up, get a drink, go to the bathroom. Me, I only have boxer shorts on. So they definitely, it was once or twice I go inside and maybe, my boxer shorts got caught on the video or something, but it was fun. It was fun for the reasons that it was. I think, as long as people remember that it had to be done because of a pandemic, you got to keep it at that value.
But I did hate the piped in boos and cheers. Like,
I agree.
That wasn't authentic to me. But I'm glad we're going back to the crowds now. We're gonna hear, because the piped in boos and cheers with the Thunderdome, that was not authentic. That's that's like the main reason.
Yeah.
Why I'm happy we're going back to crowds. The Thunderdome was fun, for what it was worth it.
Sure.
Going, on video, and it was fun for what it is. But I'm sick of it. I'm sure you're sick of it too.
Look, I'll
miss. You want to be back to the.
I'll miss the interactive part, but I won't miss Thunderdome because live fans rule. Live fans rule.
Yeah, they rule.
Yeah. Well, my friend, have a good night. Thank you for calling in. We'll definitely talk again soon.
All right.
Take care.
Bye.
All right, everyone. I am putting the Do Not Disturb back on, so my apologies if anybody didn't get to call in. But remember, Thursday, we'll be doing calls throughout the night. Some tells me Thursday will be heavy on the Q&A. Great calls tonight, man. I mean, just very diverse questions. And, look, nothing is out of bounds. You have something you want to say, even if it's totally disagreeing with my view about something, never feel that you can't confront me on it. Even if you want to try to hit me with a hard-nosed question about other stuff and everything, it's all good. It's all good. It's all I ask is that, think about everybody else tuning in. And I think that's why the questions are usually pretty damn good. Think about the other people tuning in. Would they be interested in what you're asking? I mean, obviously, I'm here to answer whatever is on your mind. But, think about everybody else. And I tell you, I think everybody out there loved the questions tonight. And I don't ever like to try to, favor one question over another. But very, very diverse, all different parts of the country. Some homeboys here in my neck of the woods and, Muhammad in Sweden. And it's great. I love having that diverse audience. And like I said, this is something that was very, very important to me, and that was, the vibe and everybody being able to hang out and, just have fun. And, you should never feel like you're doing something wrong because you're having fun. And that's the thing about Thunderdome, and I'll end with this tonight. That's the thing about Thunderdome. I don't like the concept of Thunderdome. I think some of the digital stuff will remain in the future. I love what they're doing in NXT. I love seeing those digital billboards on the top and seeing the wrestlers and it changing. I freaking love that. So you're going to see some of that, I think, stick around in WWE. But again, as much as I enjoyed the interactive, I'm ripping a tag off of my shirt. I probably shouldn't be doing this right now, but freaking thing was annoying. Sheen, S-H-E-I-N. It was interactive. It was a lot of fun. Being on TV, it's fun too. I mean, look, you go live and in person, you sit ringside, you like being shown on TV. Me, I wanted Deli Man on TV. That was the thing more than anything. And I said that if I did it, I was going to have fun. I don't care what my age is. I don't care how bad Thunderdome was. I was going to have fun. And I did. And I think everybody out there, you should always try to have fun. don't ever let anyone make you feel like you're doing something wrong. There are so many miserable bitches out on social media that 90% of what they write is negative, and that attracts attention. I'm not going to be one of those people. And again, as I said earlier, it really frustrates me that over the years that built up from shows that I have done before. I wanted to do videos so people could see an extension of myself and to, just expand a little bit. So you see my eyes, you see how I act, you see my mannerisms, and trust me, when you see the smiles, it's authentic. It's not fake. It's not fake. And I hope all of you out there had a good time tonight. I thank you tremendously for hanging out. Keep posting your comments in the comment section. Believe it or not, and I'm not bullshitting when I say this, I appreciate smashing the like button, but if you have a comment or if you just want a shout out or if you saw, post it in the comment section, because only now I'm starting to become aware of these algorithm things, and apparently even just posting comments helps. So anything like that, definitely gets a little exposure. I mean, again, I have to remind some of the wise asses out there that about 80% of my audience tunes in audio only. It's more convenient. I feel bad sometimes when I post pictures and they can't see it, obviously, but they can always go back to the video part on YouTube. It's free. It's free. And they can say, oh, let me see the picture that he posted. Let me see the mugshot side by side. There's nothing stopping anybody that's tuning in audio only that can't go and check out the video part for a couple of seconds. But 80% of my audience, or people that tune in, friends, family, all of you, they tune in on the audio only side. So, when some people try to throw in my face, oh, look at your numbers on YouTube. Oh, look at this person compared to you. Let me get rid of the audio only option and you see what happens. So I have to remind some people out there that, you could play that game, but it's not going to work. But much love, everyone. I'm going to jet out of here. Long show tonight. Actually longer than Raw, but we had some great topics to talk about. Let me know what you think about the idea of Sasha, coming back, challenging Bianca, and turning heel in the process to replace the fact that Bayley is injured. What do you think about the idea that Jimmy Uso should be off TV for a little while? Not suspension, but, maybe some treatment. Brock Lesnar returning. Big E, what do you think? You don't have to wait till Friday. What do you think, is going to happen to Money in the Bank? Post your comments. Very much appreciated. And I am going to jet out of here. So one last time, if you're enjoying the show or if you enjoyed the show, hit that like button, like, share, subscribe. It'd be fucking ecstatic if we could hit 200 likes before I disconnect right now. We're at 191. So thank you, everyone. I have to give a shout out to La Nostra Famiglia, and I will update it tomorrow with a couple of new members as well. I hope you enjoy the content on the channel, and I am going to jet out of here. So I know I always close out the show with this, but I don't know, maybe we could do it while this is on the screen. So take care, everyone, and be well. I see you Wednesday, 10:05 p.m. after Dynamite. If you're part of our Patreon family, you can check us out tomorrow. Mish and I will be on. We got the tallies for round one of the favorite TV sitcom tournament that we set up 2 weeks ago. So tomorrow we'll reveal who advances to round two. And then we're going to open the voting up tomorrow night as well. So a couple of surprises in the voting. About 80% of our Patreon family voted, which is incredible. I mean, usually I do polls and I get maybe 5% of people voting on it. This time, 80% of you took part in that tournament. So tomorrow we'll have some fun with that. We'll do Q&A as well. And that's it. So everyone out there, have a great night. Much love as always. And I leave you with this.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a podcaster. For me to live any other way was nuts. To me, those goody-good people who worked shitty jobs for bum paychecks and took the subway to work every day and worried about their bills were dead. I mean, they were suckers. They had no balls. If I wanted something, I just took it. I ran everything. I paid the bills. I paid the host. I even paid the masked maniac. Everybody had their hands out. Everything was for the taking. We always called each other good fellas. You would always hear from somebody. You're gonna like Don Tony. He's alright. He's a good fella. He's one of us. But if you're part of my crew, nobody ever tells you they're gonna get rid of you. It doesn't happen that way. There weren't any arguments or curses like in the movies. See, your haters come with smiles. They come as your friends, the people who've claimed they care the most for your life. And now that's all over. And that's the best part. Today everything is different. There's lots of action. I don't have to wait around for everything like everyone else. Oh, I didn't get the vaccine? Fuck you, vaccine me. Oh, your delivery guy has COVID? Fuck you, feed me. Right after I moved here, I ordered egg noodles and ketchup, and I got spaghetti with meat sauce. I'm no longer an average nobody, while they get to live the rest of their lives like a bunch of schnooks.